Hello, 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 and welcome to the Bada Show. I am one of your hosts, Dave, and down there in the bottom square, it is, in fact, my buddy and partner in crime, Chris. Chris, how are you this fine evening? Bada Bin After Dark.
After dark, wow, yeah, it's an evening episode here, which might become sort of normal for the next little while, the next few weeks
You're right,
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, my training schedule is it's the daytime, so it's going to be difficult to fit in a um an early recording, at least until maybe Memorial Day.
Okay.
And then we can get back to daytime. The schedule will be a little bit more fluid at that point, and we'll be back to. No one will even know that that we had a weird
We
evening
turned into
hiccup.
vampires here.
We did.
Now, we've had a few technical issues over the last couple weeks, which is all on me
Mhm.
as basically the producer of this humble program.
It's the
I
computer's
I
fault.
run the hub here from my homestead, and I actually mentioned to you before the show started. I think I'm going to start crowdfunding for a new Bada
Mhm.
Bin bot, a new
Ooh.
computer, and I'm going to use the ruse of having a sick ferret to try to raise
Mhm,
funds on
mhm.
social media or something because I do believe I am completely maxing out this laptop beyond belief. Because speaking of vampires, it's been around for a very very long time. So that being said,
Have you tried growing in it?
no, not like an old Nintendo
No,
cartridge,
no.
or not like a lot lizard trying to make an easy 20.
Hey
Hey,
now,
hey, no, I haven't.
we got Chris Yu already
Oh,
here.
hey,
Bada been after dark. To quote Deadpool and Wolverine,
yes,
LFG.
or Tom Brady.
I think I know what
Yeah,
that
there we
means.
go. But I just want to bring all that up real quick. Was the technical stuff for, yes, the sick
Mhm,
ferret. Two, with Bada Bin
mhm.
After Dark, one of the things is when we do our shows during the day, there's no 12-year-old in my domicile playing Fortnite a few rooms away,
Mhm.
stealing my bandwidth.
Let's Fortnite go.
Yeah, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Rather, this all goes smoothly tonight. Your face doesn't blow up into weird proportions and like last time. So I guess this is like an apology in advance without apologizing. It's more like I'm begging for forgiveness before anything bad
Hmm,
happens.
hmm.
But yeah, so yes, you are in training. You started a new gig,
I am.
um,
Yep.
which is great. This is a new chapter for you in your existence. You are now a
Sure.
working man. Makes me
Hmm.
think of the song "Working Man" by Rush. Are you familiar? Lame.
No, no, but Rush will come up again
Oh,
later
I
on.
like that. This is a great little
Yeah.
callback here. What do we have on the docket for tonight's night court? Well, Chris and I both have some new comic reads that we're going to
Hmm.
discuss. Some of the books I think we both equally read because we both subbed to
Yeah, I
them,
think
so that'll
so.
be fantastic. We can give our opinions on those. You did a little bin diving today, right?
I did. Yeah, I did over the
Oh,
weekend, and then today, the wife and I had to go across town to sign some
mm-hmm.
papers, so we were over there. And as we're leaving, the wife is like, "Isn't there a record store right here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we popped in there, and I picked up another, I think like five or six back issues. Haven't even looked at them yet, but I know they're on my list. So they're one in particular I'm excited
Well, I
for.
am
The rest is gonna are gonna be good
tickled
too.
pink that both your interests can be, sufficiently filled here, where you have a combo of not only vinyl but
Oh
also
yeah, yes, the wife
comics.
is a vinyl
Yeah,
fan. Yeah,
because I can
yeah.
tell you from my personal experience, if I've gone into a record store, the comics aren't.
Hmm.
If there are ever any comics, they're not anything to like write home about.
Sure,
So you
sure.
really, you get the honey hole going on out there, my friend.
Oh
So that's
yeah,
good stuff.
absolutely,
New gig, back
absolutely.
issues, signing paperwork. I mean, come on, it's living
Hmm.
the vida loca. It
In
is.
it.
It really is. So, would
Hmm.
you like to dive into some of the new issues that we had
Sure,
a look at first? Groovy.
absolutely. Yeah, because I don't have them. I don't have the new ones handy.
Why
Those
not?
but well, I showed them last week when they actually came to the door during the
Yeah, but that's
show.
more just like I'm showing off stuff that I bought, not I read
There
this.
you
I want
go.
to discuss this. You know what I mean?
Well, hopefully there'll be overlap.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna hold up the issues that I read because I do, in fact, come prepared.
That's There you go. I got the back issues. Haven't read them yet, but they're
One
here.
out of two ain't bad. Well, this
Yeah.
one I know.
Eat your heart out, meatloaf.
And we're gonna have a lot of rock references tonight, apparently, with Rush, Meatloaf. So there you
Hmm.
go. Ding, ding, ding. We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
two. So if you notice any more references to any rock bands or musical acts, please leave some comments in the chat so we can give you some kudos.
Hmm.
First things first. This is a book that we discussed issue one a couple weeks back. So I almost
Hmm.
feel a little bit of jet lag with underwater characters here. But
Oh, Aquaman. Yeah.
Aquaman number dos. Now, I sent you a text after I finished this issue. Thought was, I like this wholeheartedly much more than issue number one. And the
Sure.
reason I did were for the most simple, basic of all comic book reading pleasures. And that's because in
Hmm.
this issue, Aquaman punches a lot of stuff.
He does. He
And
does.
I thought that was far more exciting and appealing than what occurred in issue number one. And this might be a running theme actually with my weekly reads, but
Hmm.
because I think the artist John Timms is top notch. And actually, I think there was like a full page spread, or was it a double page spread in this issue? It was just like full on Aquaman action via John Timms.
I think
Yeah,
so.
so
I
that
think
was
so.
a nice little bit that I enjoyed as well. But
Yeah.
I did. I really enjoyed this much more than issue one, albeit far more simple. And maybe
Hmm.
it was just because it was less complicated, less kind of. I've talked ad nauseum about the old bait and switch when it comes to like
Yeah.
teasing me with a storyline. This was just pretty cut and dry.
Hmm.
Aquaman's here to kick some booty, you know.
Absolutely.
And your feelings on the book are
I liked it. I liked it well enough. It was weird. It felt like just another issue. It felt like it was an older volume than it actually is, which is odd. Not a
uh huh.
bad thing, but it felt like something that already had its legs under it. It didn't feel like it was establishing anything new so much.
So what you're saying is it could have been issue 32, a volume
It
number,
could have.
whatever, that sort of thing.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually opening the issue right now because there's a character in here, the main villain of the story. Her name
Oh
kind of
yes,
escapes me because I'm thinking of the villain that I want to compare her
that
to.
that
Yeah,
witch.
let me
Yeah.
let me just flip through here first. But she reminds me of Lady Weeds of Swamp Thing fame. Jenny Greenteeth is her name.
There you go.
Now, when we do this program, Chris, you are famed for opening up the book
Mhm.
and showing it to the camera lens. I don't like doing that because
Okay.
even right now, I don't like touching the issue with my bare fingers. We've all discussed my love for the Biff Tannen method of handling a comic. But
Hmm. Hmm.
anyway, yes. So that little Lady Weeds reference is definitely should be noted because maybe I'm not alone on
Do you
that.
think at the risk of
Mhm.
spoiling, do you think the reveal of the person who was there with Aquaman was supposed to be a big reveal? Like, you think it was supposed to be like a big surprise? I knew who it was
Okay.
immediately, but I wonder if it was supposed to be some sort of surprise.
It's funny you should say that. As engines roar outside my home. I don't know if you heard that. Some motorcycle bandit
No.
is driving around right now. Whether it's Doomsday whacking on my walls or friggin' Johnny Thunder out here. Now,
Hmm.
who would this appeal to? This big surprise at the end. I really think it'd have to be someone who's a fan of '80s books, primarily
Yeah,
'80s
absolutely.
DC.
Only
Only.
it is DC.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool enough.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it
It
fits.
fits. It's not. I don't know. You know, you've often complained about like people who just use Wikipedia.
Oh, the Marvel Wiki
Yeah, like
randomizer. Yeah,
Orlando, who are just like, look how clever I am. I
yeah.
found this on the internet. I don't think this was the case
Hmm.
here. I think this
No, no, because this
this
actually
has rhyme and
works.
reason to it.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
gonna hopefully, fingers crossed, lead to something. But
We got to see if Power Girl shows up. If they're gonna keep with the '80s Atlanteans,
hey, you know,
you
Jeremy
never know.
Adams, he might just be on a roll with this man. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. So I'm thinking, I mean, I'm okay to see where this goes now, but
Oh
it's
yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
sad at the same in the same token because I want to see more of this just random okay issue rather than what we got first time out, you know?
Sure,
So, I don't
sure.
know. I don't know. This is my official review. Aquaman 2. I don't know.
Eh.
But yet again, I did enjoy it far more than issue number one.
Now, before you go on,
Yes.
I don't have the book here with me, but we mentioned Adams and we mentioned Bait and
Mm.
Switch. I read Green
Oh.
Lantern, which gave me a similar bit of whiplash because it's Hal, Hal doing Earth stuff for a bit, and then it launches right into this like new Green Lantern Corps launch that's coming out. Last week when I showed off the books that came in, there was one like Green Lantern Fractured
Mm-hmm.
Spectrum or something like that, and like I'm like, oh, maybe this is something that's going to be a part of something, and it is, but it's going to be leading into the new Green Lantern Corps ongoing because I guess we need 3 or 4 Green Lantern books now. But the issue that I was reading, it felt very homey, but then it's like, nope, core. So weird. In one issue, the bait and switch, which it's unfair to call it a bait and switch because it's just our gimmick. But
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's like, oh, this space thing is over. Let's stay on. No, back to space.
I think it's fair to call it a bait and switch when it is referred to when we're talking about the start of his run on Green Lantern. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah, because that was
A
like,
couple issues at least, and then I do remember like in interviews and what have you,
mhm,
like, okay, we're stripping him down, we're bringing him back to the Earth. This is what you're gonna get,
yeah.
and it didn't last very long. So
No, it lasted 3 issues, I
so
think.
I think that's still
Yeah,
fair to use and to
sure, sure.
it's a scarlet letter on Mr. Adams' shirt right now. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
his responsibility to shake it off, not for me to
Hmm.
stop using bait and switch every time I refer to him at all.
There you go.
Now, Chris, with your permission, I'd like to continue because I have
Hit it up.
a cover here that I found very muddled and hard to like digest initially, and I know you're gonna
Okay.
hate it because it's an Ultimate Marvel book, so it's
Oh
got that
boy.
white border going on. And maybe
Gross.
I should go full screen so I can kind of give everybody more of a explanation of why. Now, when you first see this cover, right? Maybe it's easier because I have it like on my computer screen like that. But
Hmm.
just like going through my new books when it's in the stack, I just see the Ultimate Wolverine kind of like leaping. I didn't even realize
Leaping toward leaping toward
I didn't even
Colossus,
realize
is it?
Colossus was on the cover until like I opened it to read it and I kind of like
Ah.
examined it for a second. I'm like, hey, that's not like just silver crap behind him. Holy moly, that's Colossus with a goatee. So yeah, I
Hmm.
found the cover to be a little, and I guess because I'm looking at it right now, I'm looking at myself holding it, and I kind of feel like an idiot. Like, how did I miss that? You know what I mean? And you spotted it right away,
Sure,
but
sure.
I'm like, I don't know. The cover to me was just like, whatever, man.
Mm.
Um, and the reason why I'm holding this issue in particular right after Aquaman is for the same exact reason of my description of Aquaman number two and Ultimate Wolverine
Hmm.
number two. They're so similar. This issue's not half bad because he just f stuff up. He just kicks butt,
Hmm.
and it
Okay.
was cool, man. It was fluid. The pacing of the issue was good. The art was good. It wasn't too deep into anything. It wasn't too muddled or
Hmm.
convoluted or any of those things. It was just Ultimate
Sure.
Wolverine. His goal in this is to show how much of a badass he is, and it's pretty
Hmm.
rad. It's pretty dope. So I did yet again. I'm going to use this word one more time because I get a nickel every time I say it. Wholeheartedly enjoyed
Yeah.
this issue far more than I did issue number one. So time will only tell if it's a good thing or a bad thing. That I'm enjoying these
Hmm.
like more simplistic, stripped down, just action based stories. But
Sure.
yeah, it made me feel more comfortable going into issue three than I was when I
Hmm.
read issue one going into issue two. If like issue one, I
Gotcha.
had a little bit of a buyer's remorse. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really need to jump into this series, but in for a penny, in for a pound. Now I started it. I feel like I should kind of carry it through. And there have been many
Hmm.
a time where I've kind of just taken a lark on a new series and had to cancel it like 5 or 6 issues in because it's not going anywhere, and that's a crappy
Sure.
feeling. So I really
Oh
didn't want to
yeah.
have to be in that same boat with Ultimate Wolverine. So at least there's a
Hmm.
glimmer of optimism going into issue three. Whether or not that holds up, you'll have to tune into Bada Bin, probably episode 29 or something. Do you have any new books that you want to talk about? Or should I just keep going with the stack I have over here?
Keep
Okay.
going.
Well, I know there's one here you read, so I don't know if I should do that
Hmm.
next or a couple that you did not. I'm just going to
Sure.
go in order, what I have in my hand.
Okay. Yeah.
And before I show this issue off, I'm going to say Derek Robertson is a talented guy, been in the business for a long time, a lot of respect for who he is. I'm sure I say this all the time when I'm about to crap on somebody.
Is he Transmetropolitan?
Was he? I know he did the boys, right? And yeah, I believe he was Metropolitan.
Okay.
Like I said, he could be a blood donor. He could help old ladies across the street. I can't say.
Hmm.
But when it comes to the cover, this is cover A of Conan the
Hmm.
Barbarian number 18 from Titan Comics. It reminded me so much of what you would have seen in like someone's notepad growing up.
Oh, in junior
Yeah,
high?
just like
Yeah.
this really, and listen, it's not like the anatomy is particularly bad or anything, but I don't know if you can see this that I'm holding it up. To me, it just kind of feels that way. It feels like,
Trapper Keeper
yeah, a
art.
little
Yeah.
bit, man, a little bit. And I'm sorry, Derek. I'm sure, yet again, I'm sure you're a swell
Mm.
chap. I really am, but this cover really turned me off. And yet again, here's a moment where I texted you an image of the cover. And I'm like, hey, bro, I'm going in. Hopefully the guts are better than the cover, And it was an okay issue. It really wasn't much to write home
Hmm.
about. And, as far as Conan stories go, it was pretty ho hum. Um,
Hmm.
it really didn't make me like rise out of my seat and think, yeah, I feel like I could run through a brick wall for after reading Conan or anything. It was just merely an okay Conan story. This is part two of the story.
Okay.
See, you're yawning already from
A
me
little bit.
talking about it. Yeah, sorry. After dark reviews are even worse than the daytime reviews from Dave. But what I wanted to bring up about this real quick was Jim Zub on social media. He shared a link. And listen, man, if
Okay.
you write your resume, you're always gonna like promote yourself, right? I get it.
I would
You
assume.
would. You don't
Yeah.
write anything like, yeah, I hated my last boss. You don't put that kind of stuff in your
Yeah.
resume, right? So you always try to candy coat things. So on his website,
Sure.
he posts what reviewers are saying about his books. And fair
Hmm.
enough, like he's not putting all the stuff that says 10 out of 10, they're like 8 or whatever, or 7 and up. And I get it. You don't want to put anything more negative because yet it's like a resume. You're expecting
Of
other publishers
course.
to
Yeah.
read this. And are we going to give Mr. Zub a job? I don't know because
His best reviews are
3
three
out
out of
of 10.
10.
Yeah, exactly. But man, he posted reviews about this and they were pretty glowing. And I'm like, all right, it was okay. No, no need to pull the fire alarm and have everybody exit the building. It was an okay issue of Conan. So yeah. So if we ever start a Bada Bin website, I'm gonna put reviews on ours and only putting
Hmm.
glowing material on there, my friend.
Episode 23 was a
It was a
barn burner.
barn burner for sure.
15 out of 10.
Can we do that?
Chris, you popped in
Yes.
here. He says, "Does Aquaman have aqua lungs?" A little music
Mm.
reference there. Some
Listen,
Jethro
dude,
Tull.
it was supposed to work the other way around. All right. If we made the
Mhm.
rock reference, not the audience. But you know what? I will give him kudos for that because that was, in fact,
Mhm.
fairly clever.
Yes, and he says that the Ultimate Wolverine cover looks like a reverse Incredible Hulk 340 homage.
Yeah, I guess I could see that in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
just from well, yeah, yeah. You got the reflection of Hulk in the claws.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Here we are again.
yeah.
Hello. Yeah. For me, it was just kind of like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because when I first picked it up, all I was looking at was the visage.
The awful white
Yes,
border.
the awful white border and the visage of Ultimate Wolverine just leaping
Mhm.
at something. I didn't even realize he's like on the brim of Colossus's nose.
I tell you, dude, the bookstore shelves are gonna look like crap when those start coming out in force. I'm sure they're gonna be the ugliest white bordered books. That's like when Rebirth started hitting like Barnes and
Uh-uh.
Noble. Oh, those were so ugly.
Well,
And you look at the thing and it's like, oh, this is gross.
I don't really understand it, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't see why you need to shrink down the image and have it. Listen, you're creating like a brand identity.
I think, yeah, I blame
Oh,
Apple.
really? How's
Yeah,
that? Wow,
with all the
the
minimalist
minimalistic.
sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I guess
Yeah,
I don't think it was a very good aesthetic choice. But
No, it's terrible.
here in my hands, I hold X Factor #7. X Factor,
Hmm.
yet again, feels like another book I've talked about quite extensively because of my
Sure.
love for Mark Russell as an author. This was a decent issue. This actually has a return of Angel as a team leader. It is, in fact, a tie-in to the One World Under Doom stuff.
Hmm.
It's not overpowering. I don't feel like here, despite the fact that Angel's rocking. This doesn't happen in the book. This is this is a
Thankfully.
tease. This was yeah. But you know what? X Factor. I I don't know, man. It's been decent. It hasn't been
Hmm.
maybe as good as I had hoped, but
Sure.
in the same token, I feel like I get my money's worth every month out of X Factor.
Yeah.
So that's fair, you know.
Can't ask for much more
I
than
guess
that.
not.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one is something that I know you read,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Oh,
You did because
yes. Yes.
I
I
remember
did.
seeing it in your stack.
Uh-huh.
Action
Yep.
1083. This is still
Hmm.
part of the Superman Superstars line. Ridley, I believe, is the writer.
Wildly underwhelming.
The line itself or the issue?
Well, the issue.
Okay.
The line I haven't enjoyed either. So, but the issue, the because I read both of the major disaster
Okay.
issues over the weekend, and they were both
All
underwhelming.
right. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let me stop you where you are, my friend, because
Hit me.
I think these, and I might have said this before, but these have the benefit of post Wade Phantoms story arc. So
Sure.
everything compared
Sure.
to Phantoms feels like it gets like a little uptick in the
I
enjoyability scale
guess.
because
I
I
guess.
prefer this to what we got with the Wade Phantom story arc. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I found the end, what was happening in the end of this story, to be a little convenient and cheesy, very old
Hmm.
school.
Yeah.
Um, but yet again, I'm okay with this. All
Hmm.
right, I'm all right with this compared to what we've been getting. You are right. Is it the best? No. Is it the action comic story of legend of something that we all forever need to read? No, this will be forgotten in the sands of
I
time.
was I was gonna say, ironically, how we're getting a Superman Unlimited
Mm-hmm.
book, and this feels like something that would have been in a Marvel Unlimited in the
You think
'90s.
so? Yeah.
It's just so disposable.
Yeah.
And isn't aren't there footnotes saying it takes place before Absolute Power or before something? It's
Correct. This is
like,
before Lois Lane gets powered up.
come on, that was 6 months
Yeah.
ago. You
Yeah. But
know,
I think with being Superman superstars and they're kind of like just, well, listen,
they're timeless.
well, you
Yeah,
know, continuity being whatever it is, they're also,
sure.
the stars of this line are supposedly supposed to be the writers, right? So you got to give them some leeway to do
Mm,
whatever they want with the character. This is what I'm assuming.
I guess.
I'm just
I
playing
guess.
devil's advocate here, man.
Yeah,
And
don't gotta
yeah,
like it, but I guess it is what
but I
it
will
is.
say
Yeah.
yet again, I would take this 10 out of 10 times over than what we got with Phantoms and Wade.
Mm,
I'm sorry, man. That thing bored me so bad to
that
tears.
was. I mean, that was at least 8 parts too long.
Yeah, right. Well, dude, at least you're not
Yeah.
getting 12 parts out of this about the major disaster stuff. You know what I mean? And because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
haven't said much about what the contents are, other than the fact I was like, the end is old school, it's a little cheesy, but we're
Hmm.
dealing with reformed villains
Who are
turning
suddenly
heel again. Yeah,
swapping back.
exactly.
Yeah.
Turning back to evil, and why? What's going on with
Yeah.
that? The reasons behind it, and that's what's
Hmm.
explored in this issue. So, does it live up to the superstar title? Absolutely not. But Dave is much
Yeah, I don't
happier
think a
with it.
single one has.
Dave
Yeah.
is far more happy with it than what he's been getting out of Action Comics, and especially knowing what's in Action Comics to come. Yet
Hmm.
again, I'd rather have this. I really would.
Are you still steadfast in your
You
dropping of
son of a
Action
gun.
Comics?
You
I
hurt me.
I know it was a toughie, so I think our viewers would like to know.
Viewers, wild boys. I have done some flip flopping mentally in private
Hmm.
over this whole thing. So
Hmm. Hmm.
here's the deal, right? I'm like, well,
You're biting on the washcloth in the
yeah,
shower,
yeah,
crying.
kind of. It's more like biting on the washcloth in Cell Block J. But, dude, I was like, you know what? Let me just go one issue or two issues and see how it
Mm-hmm.
goes. And then I can just drop it and feel like less weight on me, less guilt over
And less
less
Wade.
Wade, indeed. You know what I mean? But then the other side of me is like exactly what I had said on these very airwaves, where I'm like, it's going to be a dollar bin book. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a dollar bin book. What they're doing is just mind blowing to me, especially with the climate around a major motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's supposed to be Summer of Superman, this and that, da 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 da. Superman up your freaking patootie, and we're gonna give
Mm-hmm.
you a retro Superboy story prequel BS from Mark Wade. You know it, dude. It just I don't know. So you know what? Check back with me later. Let's do another temperature check
Okay.
because luckily this month's previews it's not here yet. So let's wait
Okay.
till next month when decisions
Mm-hmm.
technically have to be made for
Have to
pre-orders,
be made.
and you
Yeah.
can kind of talk me off the ledge then. Well, listen, is that something you'd want to do? Do you want to try to convince me to keep the book, or do you not
Oh, I
care
don't
either
know.
way?
I'm just here for the
Okay,
ride.
you just like to see
Because
me in pain.
if you get it and you
Yeah.
hate it, that'll be a fun discussion. If you get it and you like it, that'll be a subversion and fun discussion. If you don't get it and I tell you it's great, that could be a
Hmm.
fun discussion. If you don't get it and I tell you it's crap, you're vindicated. Still a fun
All
discussion.
right. Well, let's hold on. Right. So let's say in that scenario, you get it. You tell me it's
Mhm.
great. I missed it. Worst
Sure.
case here, what I could do is run out and buy a copy at cover price,
Hmm.
and then
There
I'm
you
just
go.
whatever an extra $2 poorer because I didn't pull the trigger on it. Best
There you
case
go.
scenario, it's going to be exactly as I predict. It's going to suck complete nuts. And I will easily be able to collect this later on for just hole plugging from the dollar bin in the future.
It'll be in the Bendis
There we
box.
go. Dude, I feel that deep in my bones that this is dollar bin material. So,
You might be right. I mean, action in and of itself is the book you will find in the dollar bin more
well,
often
here's
than
the
not,
thing too, right?
regardless of era.
This, we both agree, it's not knocking anybody's socks off here, right?
No, and it's almost like we said with Phantoms. It's almost worse than it being bad because it's just
It's
dull.
just not that. So it appeals to me
Yeah,
because it's not that. This
it's not
this is
Phantom,
a dollar
sure.
bin book. That's what
Oh,
this
easy.
is, and I paid $3 and whatever 59 cents or 24 cents. I'm sorry,
Yep.
$3.24 for this.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of the that Superman Superstars banner in the quarter bins too.
You're saying quarter bins? Quarter bins
Uh,
don't exist anymore, bro.
50 cent
Not even in
bins.
my neck of the woods. It's buck. It's got to be a buck, buck or chuck, bro. So yeah,
All
but
right.
still, this is. But that's what I'm saying.
Bill Beer
Hey,
popping
Billy,
in.
Billy boy.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday,
Hello, and
Bill.
Friday is applicable to people who actually enjoy weekends. Hello. I work every weekend, so for me, this doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, it's Friday, we
It's
made it.
true.
It's like, well, I still got to go to work tomorrow, so, eh, you know. Anyway, Chris,
Mm.
that's the extent of my new issue reads. I do have a couple back issues I want to discuss, but I want to give you a little
Mhm.
time here to spread your wings and
Sure,
fly.
sure. Let's see. I read the new Bat books, Absolute, Batman, and Detective. They were all
Hmm.
good. You know, we're wrapping up the Zosky run in Batman, and it wrapped up. I think it was supposed to be a lot more epic than it actually wound up being. There was this whole build up to this fight with this General Star or whatever, who was really a villain that we all know. It just didn't feel like it was as heavy as I think we were supposed to think it was. I don't know if that's just because we know everything that's coming after this. Like we know Hush is going to be a big deal. We know the relaunch is going to be a big deal. So this kind of just feels like, I don't want to say lame duck, but it kind of feels like we got to get this done and out of the way so we can get the other
I got
stuff
to go
going.
write Captain America. See you later,
There you
fools.
go. Yeah. Do I still write Daredevil? No. Okay. Um, so they
Can
were
I ask
good
you a
though.
quick
I
question?
I enjoyed them. Sure.
Absolute Batman #5. When I discussed it in Bada Bin last week, I mentioned how I really enjoyed the panel layout. How
Mhm.
I felt like it was really conducive to, uh, you know, showing off action and intensity.
Oh
Did you
yeah,
kind of get those same vibes when you were looking at Dragota's
yeah,
art and the way he laid out the page?
yeah. It was very well
Good,
done.
good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. There was no because I remember like it was a couple of issues ago where you'd mentioned something like where it goes into flashback, but it's not clear it's flashback,
Hmm.
and it was like a little jumbly. I didn't get that at all this time,
Right.
but I did when you brought that up. I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally see that. This one was very very fluid,
Hmm.
and it's not the end of the arc though, right? Was it issue 4 or 5?
This is issue 5, and this still
Okay.
continues the whole Black Mask thing.
Yeah,
The
the zoo.
zoo, yes,
Yeah.
indeed. I don't
Okay.
believe this was the end of it. I believe we still got like another issue. No, no. I know the teasers for the
Hmm.
upcoming issues and previews and stuff was the absolute Mister Freeze. But
Oh,
you
that's
know what
dull.
though? Hold on. If we do in fact still have Bill Beer here in the chat, he is the bat
Hmm.
expert.
True
So
that.
Bill, if you can via the chat board, text, chime in.
Use
Use text,
text.
yes. Type clickety clack click click, and let us know what is up with the absolute Batman, the arcs. Where are we at? What's going on? You're our man on the inside. Give us
Hmm.
the scoop.
Absolutely. I read Green Arrow. That was another good issue. Here we're still doing the like the freshwater kills story
Mm-hmm.
where people in this small town are dying of poisoning. And I read a lot of DC this week, a lot of new DC. And you know how some characters get
Mm-hmm.
pigeonholed? Like you see Speedy and it's like, hey, heroin addict, every time, right? I've seen Ollie in like 3 or 4 books this past week. He's making chili in every
Chili?
single
Did
one
you
of them.
say chili?
Not the
Oh,
dog,
no dogs.
just chili.
Okay.
How much chili does this dude make? It's like we're distilling. Can we show him like retying a bow? Restringing his bow or something. He doesn't always need to be standing behind a damn pot of chili. And it's like, oh, this is the hottest thing yet. It's like, but it was the hottest thing yet in the Justice League book you were
Yeah.
just in. What's going on here? I think we just need to.
And these are no like medium
I don't know.
saucepans, correct? These are large vats of chili this man is making.
They're like the giant tamale
Yeah.
pots here. They're
He's going to make
huge.
it for the entire
Yeah,
Justice League. And now we know the
he's making
roster
it.
is unlimited. That's a hell of a lot of chili.
Hmm. But it's like it was like 3 or 4 books that I
Right.
read over the weekend, and he's behind a damn pot of
Wow.
chili. It's like, come on.
How much content does that really take up though? Is it like a page of him just whipping up his
It's like a
a
half
half
page or a
page or
page,
page? Really? Wow.
but still, it's like can give someone else panel time or give him something
Mm.
else to do. I get that it's like like when Martian Manhunter got his like addiction to
Yes.
Oreos. It's like everybody wanted to put that in the book. Every time he's there, he's sneaking a cookie. It's like, haha, I snuck it in.
You know what?
With Ollie, it's like,
Here's what we can do.
make the chili. Hmm.
Now, if you remember the Namor run, the John Burns stuff, we've actually been talking about this on air, off air, a whole hell of a
It's
lot
true.
lately. But the character Sludge, who is like the sentient toxic waste from the oceans, this giant
Okay.
monstrous beast that Namor had to take down. What if the chili dog gained sentience?
Hmm.
And that is so. This is all
Oh,
leading up to
damn.
this. There's a reason. There is a method
Oh,
for the
damn.
chili, and the chili is going to attack Ollie, and Ollie has to defend
Hmm.
the world against the giant chili monster.
You know, having one-on-one experience with chili dogs, like I
Yes,
do, sentience isn't too far a
really.
reach.
Mm,
Yeah, like you remember like the old Blob movie from the black and white one back in the long
sure.
ago. I remember being petrified of that because it came on one day and my mom's like, "Oh, I was terrified of that growing up." So then I was
Yeah.
terrified of it. And like it's like the guy with his walking stick and he pokes the goo and it climbs up the stick. Chili dog.
But listen,
Very, very
just
similar
to be
feeling.
clear, there are no
Mm,
dogs in
no
Green
dogs in
Arrow.
this.
It's just straight up chili. You're just
Straight up
throwing in the
chili.
dog
I'm throwing in
because
the dog
it's
because
part of
it
your
scared
DNA.
me.
That's
It
what it
is.
is. Okay,
It
well, you know
is.
what? Future issues, you're going to have to keep us updated because I didn't end up subbing to it. So, should the
Okay.
chili monster appear and I am validated, I want to have my
Hmm.
triumphant, the horns blaring, welcome to Valhalla.
There you go.
Dave, you were right. Moment.
And how come Chili always looks so much better in comics? It just looks like there's so much to it. Then you make a pot of it, and it's like,
I like Chili. I really do.
I do too. I do
Uh,
too. But it's like it always seems so much more spectacular in a comic or on TV or something. It's like, oh, I spent all day making. It's like you put the stuff in the pot and it does the thing. Eh,
well,
no, not much pomp and circumstance.
here they have that Texas pie thing going on, where
Is that with like
Fritos
Fritos?
in your chili. When
Hmm.
I lived in Mexico, what they used to often
Hmm.
do is cut open the bag of chips and dump condiments and stuff in the chips, or cheese, or
Yeah,
corn,
yeah. Hmm.
and eat it with a spoon.
They do that out here.
And
Yeah.
so when I came here, they're like, "Yeah, you got to have Texas pie or whatever, chili and Fritos." It's not half bad, but
Oh,
it's
it's
not as
good.
great as it should be. It's very
Yeah.
Aquaman number two, very Ultimate
Ultimate
Wolverine
Wolverine
number
number two.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and
It's very Superman
oh geez, no, no,
superstars.
no, no, no. It's
Yeah.
far better than Superman Superstars, which hurts me. It hurts me.
It's true.
I
It's
mean,
true.
Superman is a flagship character. He is the OG superhero. You think we should treat his
Hmm.
titles with a little bit more respect. Thankfully, we still have the Superman main title with
That's great.
Williamson and Mora, even though Mora is going
Hmm.
to be taking a little bit of a break coming up, which is another
Hey, God bless him.
dude, the guy, hardest working guy in comics, right? Machine.
Machine.
And so that
Machine.
book has been very solid, so we have that. But Action
Oh
Comics
yeah.
deserves to be like one of the more, I don't know, it's an institution, right? You should really be treating it
Yeah.
with a hell of a lot more respect. But
Absolutely. It shouldn't be an
I'm gonna be
afterthought.
talking about this all
Yeah.
day. We went from chili to Action Comics in 2 seconds flat.
And then
We're
back again. Yeah.
So back to your reads. Let's do that because I feel like I'm trampling
Sure.
over your entire.
I'm trying to find
I
good
thought you were
light
killing a
here.
bird. Sound like you were
Hmm?
strangling a parakeet.
Well, that's how we get
Oh,
the
okay.
lights on.
Uh,
The bird does
Yeah,
it.
hamsters and wheels. No,
Yeah.
I just strangle
A
yeah,
parakeet.
parakeets. I was gonna say parrot, but yes, parakeet.
Yeah,
Little.
little bird. I don't think I could beat up a parrot. They're too big.
They're nasty.
Um, what else did I? They seem like they could be. What else did I read? JSA feels like it's dragging a little bit. It feels like, I mean, it's supposed to be a throwback, I think, but it's a throwback to like early 2000s Marvel,
Okay.
where this is issue 4 and it feels like an issue 4. Like I always said during the like the Gemis Casada days, it's like when you saw like part 4 of 6 on the cover of a book, it's like skip it.
Uh-huh.
It's not going to matter. It's just going to drag it out so you can fill pages in a trade. This was JSA number 4, and it was like, can we just get on with it? I want to love this book. Can we just get on with it? And it's dragging a little bit.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's too early to drag too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Because like, and you know, this might just be me. It probably is. But like when even with the Absolute books, when you open it up and it's like the Zoo Part 1, and it's like, because like it's going to be like the Zoo Part 6. Like just give it an individual title. You know, The Last Amazon Part 1, The Dust of Krypton Part 1. It's like, I know this is for trade, but shake it up
Did
a little bit.
Bill Beer pop back in with any bat info?
He did
Okay, so
not.
Bill, he probably like jumped on. Hey, I'm watching you guys. You know, I'm cool. You're cool. And then he's like, they're not even to know I'm gone. And then we ask him directly.
And we put the onus on
Yeah,
him.
he's
Yes.
just off strangling a parakeet somewhere, eating some chili.
Might be.
Yeah.
Might
All
be.
right. Okay. Thanks, Bill. Thanks a bunch.
But yeah, the JSA book, it's a different artist on it this time
Okay.
too, which is
Very
odd.
early.
Very
Mhm.
early, very early. But it felt like one of those very circular early 2000s Marvel issues where it like starts off in one place, some stuff happens, but it ends like in the same place. Like it's like, we need 20 more pages in this book. Can you make that happen? Got it. And I love Lemire. I think he's great, but this was it's starting to feel.
Okay. But issue 3 was far better. So issue 4 was just this is
Issue 1, 2, and 3 were really good, and I was excited. It's toward the top of my
Mhm.
stack every month. And then with 4, it was just like, oh no, It's not bad. It's not bad at all. And the artist who was filling in is quite good as well, but it just really felt circular and
So you basically are saying to me, like, this is the way I would interpret it, is that
mm,
let's say issue 5 and 6 are similar to issue 4, it could be slumpy. You know what I mean?
sure.
That's the thing. The book could kind of easily fall into a slump if they kept this as the status quo of the way the issue is constructed. But so far, it's only been one.
Yeah, and with it being a different artist,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was like, oh, we're running late with the regular artist. Can we just do something to get us to
Yeah,
the
that's
next
true
issue?
too.
Don't know.
Good point there, amigo. Mm-hmm.
Potentially, potentially. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've read. I flipped through the Amazing Spider-Man books, and those were not great looking. Flash is still dealing with Warlord, but it's not actually Warlord, and it's
Hurting you.
I'm looking I'm looking forward to this one
Yeah,
being over.
you were wincing
Um,
over there in pain. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
and the latest Titans issue is pretty good. They're doing like it feels like they're actually trying to make the Titans important again, where they're giving them like a whole new Injustice League. It's no, not there's a crime syndicate being put together,
Okay.
and it's a lot of heavy hitters, and they're going to be pitted against the Titans, which is pretty cool. I think it's Dan Waters who's the writer, and when he took over, there was an announcement that like Wonder Girls or Donna Troy is taking over as leader, and it reminds me so much of like when someone gets their first promotion into like a supervisor role, and every single thing that they say is like relevant to them being in charge.
Okay.
So it's like Dick will be talking to Donna, and he'd be like, it's like, oh, this is, maybe do it this way. She's like, I'm not gonna quit. I'm the leader now. You made me the leader. And like she says that every third or fourth page.
Hey, did the now this? I don't read Titans, but I know
Sure.
there's been a lot of hubbub and hullabaloo about a
Hmm.
smoocherooski. Did that occur in the most recent issue, or is that coming up in the future?
That I didn't see, so maybe it's coming
Okay,
up.
well, I'm not going to spoil
Yeah.
who's swapping spit.
Whose lips a locking?
Yeah,
Yep.
because you are a reader of that fine periodical. But I
Hmm.
just know
Hmm.
there was some on social media. There's a like, oh, look at this. This is going to create a little bit of a backlash.
Look at this thing that happened in a book that I'm never going to buy.
Yes, indeed. Heart. I was gonna say retweet, but not Twitter, but whatever. Just something. Yeah, indeed. Repost.
Repost,
Thank you.
retweet,
Mm.
repeat.
All right. What else you got from the new books before we hit your fat stack of back
I think
issues?
that's it because you know, I decided I'm dropping the other absolutes besides Batman,
Superman going
and
bye bye.
I Superman's gone, Wonder Woman's
What about
gone.
the new ones? You're not gonna
Uh,
take a nibble on those?
I'm gonna jump on the first issues to
So
see.
Manhunter, Martian Manhunter, you're gonna nibble.
Yeah, and I think that's only 4 issues, like a 4 issue
Okay.
mini or something like that, or 5 issue maybe. So that's not too big a
And
commitment.
Flash is
Uh,
Lemire.
Flash and yeah, and Green Lantern I think is that your guy?
Yeah, I Green Lantern's not even on my radar,
Hmm.
so I just didn't even include it. Because that's how I operate. Remember we talked about headcanon, what exists up here is the only thing that
True,
matters.
true.
Absolute Green Lantern. Whoop. What? Huh? That's
But
real?
and I know Chris, you likes Wonder
Mm-hmm.
Woman, the absolute Wonder Woman. He says it gets better as it goes on. I just have no interest. I have zero interest in regular Wonder Woman, just like most of the
Mm-hmm.
world. You know, it's this weird thing where like we want to pretend that that's always been a big selling book, and it's never been. It's there out of inertia. So to have the absolute version, it's also dull to me. I'm sure it's got fans, but I ain't one of them. And the Superman one, I did not care for. I read the first two, and I guess I kept it on my subs for a few
Mm-hmm.
months. But nah, that's going.
Well, there you go. I'll keep you updated on Absolute Superman.
Hmm.
So, you'll be kept abreast of what's happening over in that part of the Absolute
I like it.
universe thanks to moi. How's that sound?
There
You can
you
save
go.
yourself
I like it.
$3.24.
I can.
And well, let's move on to your fat stack that you got here of the back issues that you've bought but yet haven't had a
Sure.
chance to look at.
Yeah, I got my Sunday stack and I got my
All
today
right.
stack. So I don't know what to go
Let's
with
go in
here.
order, man. Let's go Sunday
Sunday?
and then
All
leap into
right.
Friday.
Now, this is a 40-cent bin, which do exist out
Okay,
here.
you lucky devil
It's actually a
you.
50 it's actually a 50-cent bin, but I have an educator discount of 20% off, so it's 40
Wow.
cents.
Bougie, as the kids like to
And
say.
I
I
don't know
don't
what that
even.
means.
I don't know, man. I just know it means like fancy or something. I
Oh,
think.
yeah. I am very
Okay, and
fancy.
I'll say it again. You're
Um,
bougie.
I didn't get to do anything with my hair today, so I'm looking Roy Thomasy today. So
Um,
I'm not very bougie
it's
that way.
very not. I don't know. You don't look like a circumcised penis. So you
Thank you.
don't look like the little Dutch boy.
I
So I think
appreciate
I
that.
think that was a not very good comparison you just made there.
Okay.
So let's
Okay.
try something else. Uh,
I'll
I
keep
don't
him.
know who the hell
I'll
you look
keep
like.
him.
You look like you. All right.
Hey, I guess there are
Yes,
worse
indeed.
fates. Um, Now in this bin, or it's actually racks of 50-cent books. Got some Aquaman from the Peter David run that we've been talking about a lot. Just filling in holes, basically. I only need a handful of them. And one of them, I actually had to do a triple take to my spreadsheet because it's one that we've actually talked about in particular here. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure I've got that. I'm sure I've read it. I remember reading it. I never read it. It's this one here. It's your Swamp
Yep,
Thing issue.
indeed. But the giant vat of
Yeah.
toxic waste
Of waste,
in
indeed.
that nice little
Yeah, so
Vertigo Swamp Thing title
yeah.
or logo rather.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
logo, yeah.
look at that.
Yeah. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, I got that one, and I passed it up, and I'm like, do I? And I checked the spreadsheet. I'm like, no
Yeah,
way. How the hell am I
right on.
missing that? I could have sworn,
Who
but
who draws that issue,
um,
Chris? Who's the artist?
I think is it Eglund? Oh no, it's Jay Calafiore.
Calafiore. Yes.
There he
Mamma
is.
mia.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy
Indeed.
meatball.
Oh, we're going to the interiors?
All
What are
right.
you doing? You teasing us?
I was flipping through here. I don't know if there's a well you can see that.
Oh yeah, my boy Alfred with a little bit of
Yeah.
tang.
He's going up to
Ooh.
space. Yeah, there's some of the Calafiore stuff. I mean,
That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's groovy. I like that. It's out of sight. Oh, you
yeah,
stink. All
I do.
right.
I do. I'm terrible.
Okay.
Um, I'm I always say that I'm collecting all this like Titans peripheral stuff for like a project I'm never gonna do, and that includes Damage. Remember Damage?
Yeah, not great.
Yeah. No, no, it's a very ugly
Oh
book.
Lord.
It's a very ugly
Yeah.
book.
And you paid 40 cents each. You've been
Yeah,
robbed. You've
yeah.
been hoodwinked. Bamboozled.
Here's one that I picked up here. I thought I had this one too, but I did not. It's Hitman number 2, and it's got the. Usually, when this man is on the cover of a book, it's very
Yeah, you gotta pay
expensive,
that
and
premium.
this one you got to pay the Joker
Right.
tax, man. Um, I'm trying to collect all of the Outsiders
Nice.
books. I thought I had all the Outsiders books, but there was a 5-part. I can't even say it's a 5-issue lead-in because it's 5 parts. They all are number 1, and it led into the pre-Flashpoint Outsiders volume, and it's like the Outsiders 5 of a kind, and it has like weird team-ups. So there are 5 of them. I think this is my 4th one. I think I need one more. So there's that. Um, the rest of these from Sunday are all a volume that I was out of work at this point, so I was not buying any comics, and I missed out on the entirety of Red Robin. You remember Red Robin?
Not really. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a blind
is
spot
that?
for me. I mean, I know it exists, but I've
Yeah,
never read
yeah.
any.
Now, I read the first few issues for the blog, I think, and I liked it quite a bit.
Uh-huh. Who
But
was the author?
this is Christopher Yost,
Oh.
and also one of your favorites, or actually someone who, to him, you are one of his favorites. You see that name
Oh,
there?
yeah, nice Yeza ain't so nice after all when talking to
Mm-hmm.
me.
He ain't.
Oh,
He told he told you to check
yeah, he did.
yourself.
What a douchebag.
So hopefully I'll
Who tells me off? Who has the right to tell me
right.
off? He don't pay my bills.
Ahem. You know I'm still connected to this
Yeah.
post. I'm still
Okay,
tagged.
Fabian. Have a nice day.
And yes. I don't know if I'll ever get to those, but I'd seen them for 40 cents each in great condition. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, why not? Now the last thing here from
Okay.
Sunday was a book, and we mentioned Rush earlier. Um, a book that I've heard a lot of things about, but had never actually seen it in person, and that is John Burns' 2112 or 2112,
I
however
like
you want to say
2112 because
that.
that fits into the Rush narrative.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Yes, and this is the lead into Next Men, and this actually has ties to post-crisis DC, where Byrne was going to launch a book called The Freaks, which was basically this, I think. And I think there was actually artwork included in one of like I don't know if it was an absolute crisis collection or might have been one of those retailer incentive sort of gimmicks where it's like, here's stuff that's coming. And Freaks was part of it. And, well, Byrne, he took it to Dark Horse here. And it looks, this is 1992, but it looks like Byrne from the 21st century. It's, the art is not X-Men. It's not Fantastic Four. It's not Alpha Flight. It's not even Namor. It's very much like Burns' early 2000s DC stuff or X-Men
Yeah.
Hidden Years, where it's a little looser, a little boxier, and like almost like the John Byrne tribute band.
Okay. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I figured I'd never seen it before. I'd heard about it, and it was, I think I paid $1 for that one. So it's like,
Okay.
all right.
Hey, at least now you can say you had it and you don't like it.
There you go.
I have it. I'm not thrilled with it. Only spent $1 on it.
It's going to sit on the shelf
There we
forever
go. That's it, baby.
until the day
Yeah.
I die.
You know what? I gotta interrupt here real quick because I realize this
Sure.
After Dark stuff is really affecting me because I have a little bit of an OG hangover. I went to
Uh-huh.
Olive Garden today and
Hmm.
I had this weird dilemma that I've mentally. This is very much like canceling Action Comics. When I'm sitting there, I'm
Sure.
looking at the menu and I'm like, dude, all I really want is a salad and the breadsticks. I don't want the entree. But you got to
Okay.
get the entree because the salad and the breadsticks are complimentary.
Come with it.
So I get the
Yeah.
entree and I literally, dude, had like two bowls, like big ass bowls of salad, two things of
Hmm.
breadsticks. I only ate like two bites of my entree. But like I'm literally still feeling it right now to the point where I'm insulting comic creators over their haircuts, social media interactions, and people.
Hmm.
Maybe you're a
Hmm.
first timer to the Bada Show, and you don't realize like what kind of sense of humor I have, and how I bust balls and jest and it's all for fun. And you're thinking what kind of jerk
Hmm.
I am.
Hmm.
So if you do think I'm a complete jerk off, I'm letting you know right now. Blame the pepperoncinis.
The Olive
The,
Garden.
the yeah, the
Yeah.
pepperoncinis was spicy today too. Ooh.
Mm.
The salad and the breadsticks. They
There you
did
go.
me in. Okay.
They
They
did
did
you
me
dirty.
dirty, and now my mouth is just doing crazy
Hmm.
things. I can't
Mm.
control it.
Did the salad become sentient?
I wish it did. I really do because it
Mm.
probably would have looked at me and been like, "Will you stop, you fat ass?"
It didn't like crawl up a napkin and start to wiggle or anything?
No. It's doing
Okay.
things
Okay.
inside
Good.
me right now, so it might become
Oh.
a sludge-like situation later. I'm gonna go like full
Oh.
screen to you. I'm gonna come back to me and be like, "What happened to Dave? What's the matter with that man?" Yeah. But yeah, as for now, it's still working in here. My brain is like in a fog. OG Olive
Hmm.
Garden. It's just all Oh, I love Olive Garden. I really do.
Got you
Hey man, when you're
discombobulated.
there, you're home. You're with family. You know what
That's
I
what they
mean?
say.
You got Michael
That's what they
Bublé
say.
on the intercom speaker doing some weird like
Hmm.
Italian song. The salad is just flowing like wine. I can't stop myself.
It's always weird for me to hear him sing songs that aren't Christmas songs.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always hear him on the Christmas stations around
Yeah.
Christmas time. I never hear him any other time of
Yeah.
year.
That's amore.
Yeah.
No Bublé. You stop right there. So yeah.
No, I want White
But I
Christmas,
just want to
damn it.
get that out of the way. If someone's like, dude, you
Sure.
said a guy's haircut looks like a circumcised penis. Well, yeah, because I love him. And that's why I said it.
Hmm.
Because I love the man.
You love circumcised
Who
penises.
doesn't? You're ready for prime time. There's no preparation there.
It's
You're
true.
photo ready.
Hmm.
Fly, bald eagle, fly.
You're you're ready for
You
your
close up.
spotlight. You're
Yeah,
ready for your
exactly.
close up. There you are. Yeah.
So anyway, today's back issues.
Today's stack.
Let's get into those.
All right. Okay. Well, I done it again.
Oops.
Damage number
Jeez,
zero.
man, on a roll.
Now,
That's like eating that second
this
bowl of salad right there when you know you shouldn't.
yeah. Well,
Wow.
damage. He spoiler alert for a 30-year-old story. He was responsible for restarting the DC universe during Zero Hour.
Ugh.
He caused that big explosion that was basically like a Big Bang analog. And I don't know if it happens in this issue or if there's a reference to it, because I know also he blows up Atlanta. So like that's a big deal. I don't know if that happens here. Maybe it does. I don't know. The rest of the books here are all from the same series. Stuff that I've been trying to fill in as I can here. Showcase, and you can see the ratty bag that this was in here. So Showcase 94, 94, 94, 94, 94. Then the one that I was excited about was, we talk about Peter David a lot. This one here from Showcase 96, which is the first appearance of the Linda, whatever the hell her name is. Was it Linda Danvers? Whoever the hell the Peter David Supergirl is.
You're correct.
Yeah, so this is her first appearance in a Matrix Supergirl story. She's in it. And I thought, like, as I was collecting these showcases, that this would be like the one that I'd have to hunt down. And no, it was $1. So there's that. And that is my, those are my stacks.
I feel like with your lighting situation, we're in a tent and there's a
Yeah.
flashlight and you're
I know I need to have it under my
yeah,
chin.
you're showing me the book. Yeah. It was a dark night, much like tonight when I got this
You ever seen a dead comic book?
with a really crappy bag on it. Ugh, no. But yeah, hey man, those are all noble pickups. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the thing is with the showcase, much like the damages, those are also like
Mhm.
your mental.
Oh, there's a
Exactly,
project
right.
there
That's your
somewhere.
mental state. Like I am picking these up
Yeah.
in hopes or belief that someday I'm going to blog about this.
Yep.
Otherwise, there'd probably be no reason to pick them up, other than that Peter David one, of course.
Yeah.
You know, which is somewhat notable, I suppose.
Sure.
Now, to turn the attention to moi, I only went through a couple back issues this week, and one of them is much more recent than Showcase 96. Do not break
Okay.
your neck on air. Don't do
Sorry.
that. Go see a chiropractor. You can see him in the dark, any kind of lighting you choose.
I'm trying to get the fetishists
Yeah.
in.
Turn on some
Cracking.
Enya.
Yeah.
I loved, and Jason Aaron, yet again, another creator that seems like he's being talked about ad nauseum on the Bada Bin show.
Mhm.
And with him, man, I have said he's written some fantastic stuff and some utter freaking garbage.
Mhm.
But one of my favorite things he ever did was his recent Punisher run. I think it's probably, and dude, this is kind of hard for me to say, but I feel it deep down in my jiggly wigglies. It might be the best Punisher run of all time.
It was good.
As far as what I've read,
I mean, yeah. I mean, what? The Punisher's not an easy character.
I just think that was just amazing. And the thing is, Namor, which I've talked about, it follows a lot of the same formula. It's not quite
Sure.
to the same level as Punisher was, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, but if he just exclusively kind of stuck with that writing structure for the rest of his
Hmm.
career, I think he'd be a very safe buy as far as
Hmm.
picking up his books. Now,
Sure.
with his run, they were Punisher War Journal like one shots. I did not
Yeah.
sub to those.
Blitz and
Correct.
yeah.
Blitz was one of them. Another one which I have in my hands right here, and that one is Brother. Um,
Hmm.
and let me tell you,
And Aaron didn't
no,
write
no,
those, though,
this
did
was
he?
Torin Gorn
Okay.
book. Let me look up her name real quick because she
All right.
was doing a Red Sonja book that I thought was okay. It wasn't
Hmm.
the best thing since sliced bread, but everybody's name is so hard for me to pronounce unless you piss me off. Torin Gronbeck was the writer. Artist was
Okay.
Raphael Pimentel, and
Hmm.
I loved this issue. I thought this was like
Hmm.
just it was a perfect compliment to what Jason Aaron was doing in the main book,
Hmm.
and I got this in a dollar sale, and I'm almost
Sure.
ashamed of myself. I did not pick this up sooner, and I regret not reading it while the main title was in fact going on as a
Going on.
monthly. This has to do with the underworld and their ever present problem of never being able to take Frank Castle down. And now that
Hmm.
he is a leader of the hand, it's just near impossible. So what they do is they devise this. I hate social media, but this internet network, including social media,
Hmm.
which is reward based on the dark web. That if you spot
Okay.
and you report any sightings of Frank anywhere, you get a cash reward. So if you can upload a picture of him, upload a picture of his weapon, his exact
Hmm.
coordinates, the time in which the picture was taken, it ups the
Sure.
ante. So you have
Gotcha.
all the world's assassins taking part in hunting for him, but at the same time you have John Q. Public, who also knows that if he
Also.
has this
Yeah.
app and he ends up snapping a picture of the Punisher, he might get 200 grand.
Sure. Sure.
It does not end well, obviously, for everybody involved except for Frank. But it
Hmm.
also has the appearance of a great and classic villain from Punisher lore, Jigsaw. So if you
Hmm.
should see this, and this actually happens to be a variant cover, I wasn't allowed to select.
I think I have
Okay,
it.
this was just grabbed this
Yeah.
cover because it was $1. But I do
Yeah.
highly recommend. Should you see this in the dollar bin? I don't think, unlike some of the other books that I was kind of newer reads that I was kind of
Hmm.
assigning value to being, very subpar. This to me
Sure.
is a far more excellent read than any of those new books. So shame on
Hmm.
me for not picking it up when it came out, but goodness gracious, I'm so happy I have it in my hands now. I think this is a great standalone Punisher story that dealt right with. I see I can't speak now. It's got me all hot and bothered.
That's the one that I don't have.
Oh,
I have Base and
okay.
Blitz.
Blitz was,
Yeah.
but this
They're
one's
and they were all Tor and
okay.
Grumback.
Yes, this one
Yeah.
is the bee's knees. Definitely seek this out if you get a
Hmm.
chance and pick it up. And I got it for $1. I'm pretty sure you can too. And we did teacher desk discount. If it's $1, what is it like 70 cents, 80 cents? There
80
we
cents, yeah.
go. Can't beat that with a
Hmm.
stick. So yeah, really good read. Dug it, enjoyed it. Now, the next book I want to discuss is something that keeps falling into my grasp. This
Hmm.
title, this book, this issue. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
First off, it was my favorite Superman title as a whole, as it is in its entirety. When Super, thank
Adventures.
you, Adventures of Superman. There we go. Now,
Hey.
I own 3 copies of this book. How I own 3 copies of this book, I have no idea, but I do. To the point where now I've kind of made it a mission that I'm going to continue buying copies of this issue until I'm the only person on the face of the earth that does, in fact, own this issue. Does that
There
make
you
any
go.
sense? I'm going to
I
hoard the
guess.
living crap out of this until no one else can
Hmm.
find it and it's worth $1 billion. And one of the
There you
incentives
go.
for that is it is a terrible freaking comic book. It is not good at all.
Is that
This is
Rucka?
Rucka. This is
Okay.
Rucka.
Yeah, I didn't care for his Adventures run.
Matthew Clark and Lanning was the anchor, and Clark artistically it's a little herky jerky. It's not the
He did. I think he did the pre-Flashpoint Doom Patrol, and I like that a
okay.
lot. If I'm thinking of the same
Okay,
fella,
you might have to do a little research on your own for that.
might
But
have to.
I found his art to be a little inconsistent in this issue. There are some
Hmm.
pages that are I think are absolutely beautiful. I'm like, wow, you go guy, and there are some I'm like they're more intimate conversation
Yeah.
pieces and stuff where I'm like, you kind of missed the mark. So I don't really know where he stood as far as length of career. I know at this point in time when he joined Adventures of Superman, if he'd been doing it for quite a while, or this was like his first foray into mainstream comics. I mean, you just mentioned Doom
Hmm.
Patrol, so probably not.
Matthew Clark, yeah, he was on Doom
Okay,
Patrol in
all
2009.
right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So this issue though, it's got a cool cover. It's
Hmm.
introduction of a new form of parasites. So I guess in some ways it might in fact be considered a key if you're into first appearances and that sort of thing. But as far as
Hmm.
enjoyable reads, you're not going to find it here. This is also a continuation of the Ruin storyline. Yuck. Um, Rucka's Adventures of
Don't remember
Superman.
that.
What's that?
I don't remember
Oh,
that.
Ruin. Well,
Yeah.
do you want a little spoiler on who Ruin is? You don't remember who
Sure.
Ruin was? Dude,
Not a
Rucka,
clue.
man, I don't know, man. Like Rucka, yet again, some of the stuff I've read from him.
What's the cover date of that? What
This
year?
was
Like oh
this is
six,
'04.
oh
So this is
four.
before
Okay.
Doom Patrol. This is December '04.
So this is like in the Identity Crisis, Infinite Crisis corridor, right?
If so, I think you're right, but it's not referenced in this in particular.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
Rucka, okay, so he was the writer at the end of this series, right? Because this series is coming to a close.
Yeah, because it gets retitled.
Correct. But Adventures of Superman
Yeah,
is going bye bye. So Rucka is there
yeah.
for the death now love it. And what he is doing for the final arc of it is this whole thing about Ruin, this villain who
Hmm.
Superman can't quite figure out how he keeps getting the upper hand on him, whether it is
Hmm.
lead lined masks and knowing all of Superman's like all of his little idiosyncrasies and every little nook and
Okay.
cranny about his powers. Well, obviously, in this issue, as a matter of fact, he's like, whoever Ruin is, he was one of my friends. Okay, because how else can
Mm.
anybody know these things about me or attack my
Was
family?
it Hush?
It was not Hush. It was Professor Emil Hamilton.
The guy from Star Labs
Yes, his buddy who's
with the
the
one
dude who
arm?
has helped him, who is like his most one of his reliable
The whole post
dude.
crisis,
I
yeah.
loved Professor Hamilton and his
Yeah.
role in the Superman books, especially in the early adventures of Superman run. He had quite a
Sure.
prominent role, and Rucka turned him into a villain named
Oh, there you
Ruin.
go.
He ruined Professor
Hmm.
Hamilton. So there's your big spoiler. Welcome to Bada Bin
I was
After Dark. Dave just ruined your
I was
day.
afraid it was going to be Bibbo.
No, no, it was not Bibbo. I think it might have been. If you did say Bibbo, though, it would have probably. Well, I guess you can't say it naturally, but it would have been on the same level of me as far as me going, why? Why would you turn this guy into a
Yeah.
villain? Why would he take a heel turn? Why would you do
Why?
that? So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and the unfortunate thing, real quick, because I kind of want to talk about
Hmm.
Adventures of Superman for a couple more minutes, is that
Sure.
Joe Casey was a writer before
Hmm.
Rucka was on here. Casey
Yeah.
had a wonderful run.
You
Casey
know,
had a
I actually
great run.
I just read a long essay about Casey's time on Adventures, where something I'd never really even realized when I read it the first time is how Superman is this. He's very pacifistic. He's the whole thing is about pacifism, but you don't even see it until it's over. And I thought that was very interesting, and it made me feel like an even dumber reader than I
Yeah, because
am,
you don't.
where it's like I didn't pick up on it. But it's like the whole thing is at least the last year of Joe Casey's run is all steeped in pacifism.
What I would
It's
love to
interesting.
do with you sometime, especially on Bada Bin. So
Hmm,
here's just another put a
sure.
pin in it idea. Because these
Okay.
things don't always tend to go very well because everybody moves at their own pace and what have you. But if
Hmm.
we did like a joined read, and I was thinking of like
Hmm.
Our World's at War or something, Like if
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We tried
right,
that.
we were, and that's what I'm saying. It's something that's hard to do and hard to accomplish, but we haven't
Hmm.
really tried it on this format before. You know what I mean? Or if we pick like an era of Superman and say, all right, next week we're
Sure.
going to cover these three issues, what we thought about them, consider it like a back issue segment, and go from
Okay.
there. Because we don't necessarily have to pick like a cherished era or anything, but maybe something a little
Hmm.
noteworthy from more of our
Okay.
heyday. When we had
Sure.
larger disposable incomes, we were just buying comics like crazy, and we might have fond memories of them for
Hmm.
whatever reason. You know what I mean? Just or just pick it out of
Sure.
a hat. I don't know, but we both own it. Let's read it and talk about it.
That's a good idea.
Will we ever do it? Only if you
Put a pin in
demand
it
it.
because you demanded
Exactly.
it. Now, Chris, you wants to know how long until DC does a Ruin 2 storyline to go along with Hush
Never.
2.
Never. That's
Has Email Hamilton shown up post Flashpoint?
I believe he has. You're gonna have to look that up, but I want to say he has. I really do, and I want to say he has as Ruin. Yeah, I
Really?
think so. Maybe
Let's
you,
find
Chris. You
out
do the
here.
work. You put in the sweat equity on that one.
I'm doing it. Oh, he doesn't even have a. He doesn't even have. Like, there's a picture of him, but you can't even click on his name. So I guess he shows up, but
Well, how are you looking for this? Like a post? Are you being very specific? Are you just looking up for his bio or what? His publication history?
I'm on the DC Wikia here. Yeah. But yeah, it's oh, he showed up in the Dawn of DC.
Okay.
Yeah. So was he? Did he have a cameo in like a in the Williamson run?
I can't, dude. I really don't remember. I mean, I think, and I'm just. Here's the thing, right? There's so many times I've said I've forgotten more than I know. And
Yeah.
sometimes just like little sparks or something might pop out of my consciousness and be like, you know this. How? Why? I don't know. But I'm telling you, you know this. And I had a strong feeling. But yeah, as
Yeah.
far as
Weird.
citing my references, dude, sometimes it can be a little tough when you killed as many brain cells as I have over the last freaking 40 some odd years.
Oh, damn! There was a book in 2004 called Engine Head, written by Joe Kelly with art by Ted McKeever. Came out from DC. I never realized it was actually in
Oh,
continuity because Email Hamilton shows
see,
up
you
in
got
it,
me. I didn't know that either.
and I've got that. I just
Oh,
never
too
read
bad. I was going
it.
to say, go look for that in the dollar bin there, buddy
Yeah,
boy.
I'm sure you could find
Yeah,
it
yeah,
there. I'm sure you could
exactly.
find it
Right.
there. Weird. Yeah, we'll have to do more research on the
Yep.
prof to see what his
And we will get
gimmicks
back to you
up
with
to
a full
now.
report. It'll be on your desk by 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
In triplicate.
Now, Chris, since we were done talking about new issues, back issues,
Mm-hmm.
there is a thing from Bada bin lore. Lore
Mm-hmm.
from way back, way back, way back, way back. And we used to do it, and we haven't done it in a long
Mm-hmm.
time. Not once, I
Okay.
don't think, from our hiatus have we
Hmm.
done this. And that is
Okay.
when I would hit you with like this impromptu, off the cuff question for your opinion on it.
Uh-oh.
I know. Yeah. Uh-oh
Uh-oh.
is right. Be scared. Be very frightened.
Mm. Be
Be very
afraid.
afraid.
He
And if you remember, what was some of the? Ooh, geez, you turned off the lights.
killed another bird.
Yeah.
Killed another bird.
Sorry, parakeets of the world. Chris is out to murder you.
Hmm.
Um,
Just pour salt on them. They
now I
come
don't
back.
know if you could. Yeah, I don't know if you can remember any of the random questions I asked you many, many, many months ago for your opinion, but I know one of them was like, "What is the best X logo?"
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's the kind of vein that we're going with here. This is not like hefty stuff that you need to be like well versed on. Just what
Sure.
you think is the best of something. So
Okie doke.
here goes my question: Spider-Man. You
Mm-hmm.
were recently checking out some Spider-Man books, Matt. But if
Mm-hmm.
you were pressed to answer, which you are now, the
Mm-hmm.
coolest design, the best design, the most aesthetically pleasing image on a piece of paper for a Spider-Man villain, who would you choose as the best looking, the
Oh
most
boy.
dapper? Well, it doesn't have to be dapper, just because that implies they're just good dressers in the comics as well. But still, like a
Mm.
villain that to you, you go, yeah, man, that's an awesome looking Spidey villain.
I guess I'll be the basic bitch here. It's Green Goblin.
Really? That was
Yeah,
very basic bitch of you, Green Goblin.
yeah.
Now, why was that the first one that would pop in your head? Because I mean, listen, as far as rogues galleries, Spider Man's is pretty varied and wide. You have a lot of options here. So to go with basically option A, what's the
Hmm.
inspiration?
I just feel like those are, uh, at least when I was reading, those were the best stories. I think there's a lot of meat on that
Mm-hmm.
character, and Spider-Man has a big rogues
Yes,
gallery.
huge.
I think most of them suck.
All right, but remember,
I don't.
Chris, I'm
I
asking you
think
like
Electro sucks. Vulture sucks. Sandman
right, but I'm
sucks.
asking you like as far as just visually appealing.
Oh, visually
That's what I wanted
appealing.
to know. That's why when he said Green
Oh,
Goblin,
okay,
jeez, you
okay.
can't even understand the question. You've killed too many
Sorry,
parakeets
it's
this
late.
evening.
It's late. It's late. Um, this might really date me, but I always like the doppelganger.
Wow, that is okay. See, that's the kind of answer
I
I
like how
was
the
expecting here.
Yeah, I like how the doppelganger is such a striking design. He sucks, but he looks really really cool.
Well, that's a bummer because I did not pull any images of the doppelganger for tonight's program. I just have these montage pieces. Uh,
Who'd you pick?
as far as my choice, or as far as the images I'm showing right now.
Oh, I'm looking at the image
Okay,
right
I'm
here.
showing a
Yeah,
couple different ones. This to be like, look at all these Spidey villains.
is that Kevin
That one is a
McGuire?
Kevin McGuire piece. Yeah, I
How
pulled it
about
off
that?
the World Wide Web. And speaking of Electro,
Mm-hmm.
that mask is god awful though. That mask
Sucks.
is pretty crappy. Kevin
Mm-hmm.
McGuire, I love Kevin McGuire, but that mask is a little
Yeah.
much there, guy. So yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, yeah, of course, man. If you're just talking like straight up best Spider-Man villain, the Green
Yeah.
Goblin to me, yeah, I can totally buy that. But as far as the best design, and even then, look, man, when you're talking about like the coolest looking villain, he's been copied quite a few times. As far as how many goblins exist in the Spider
Oh,
Verse, you know what
many,
I
many,
mean?
many. Yeah.
And there's a reason for that too, because it is very cool and haunting and evil and
Sure.
everything else. So yeah, I can totally dig that. I get behind that, but still, I was not expecting that as the answer
Mm.
for your design choice, numero
Ah.
uno. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
So who'd you pick?
Um, all right. So for me, I was thinking I might be a little biased because I've been reading so much Spectacular Spider-Man recently. But even
Okay.
beyond that,
So
no, no,
Tombstone.
no, no, no. Tombstone, dude. As far as the design, you might it's like Solomon Grundy with like sharper teeth.
That's
You know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah, and a
In a
suit.
suit, yeah, yeah. Well, a better tailored suit. But
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, all right, a couple characters from Spectacular Spider-Man run that I really enjoyed as far as villains go. This yet again is just visually. I like Puma a lot, but the other one I
Mm-hmm.
really like is Tarantula. I think Tarantula,
Hmm.
because listen, Tarantula also has a very Spider-Man esque uniform. As
Sure.
far as the whole like design goes on it, he has a spider emblem on his chest, and this one is very Ben Riley, Scarlet Spider, pre-Scarlet Spider style. I would think with the
Hmm.
elongated, not tentacles, it's legs.
Legs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Going up into the shoulders and everything else. The pointy boots that have toxins in them. I just really dig the look of the tarantula a lot.
Hmm.
Especially when he's got like that bandana over his face. He's still got the Spider-Man eye socket thing going on there, which
Sure.
probably isn't the most original thing in the world, but I think it works. So for
Yeah.
me, and I think it's a nice little cool, like especially when you see like Spider-Man versus Tarantula, you think, okay, well you got a character decked out in red and like blue versus another character in red and blue. They're gonna get lost in
Hmm.
the fray fighting each other. No, I think Tarantula is just very visually striking, and I dig it. I like it a lot. So that I might change my mind. I am totally
Hmm.
leaving that open for the future. I probably will never say Green Goblin, with much respect to Green Goblin,
Hmm.
but right now,
What about Ultimate Green Goblin?
dude, that the monster,
That
the
was
monster one,
horrible.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no, 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 no.
horrible.
That's not my peas and carrots at all. No
Mm-mm.
siree bop. Uh, as a matter of fact, the film, the original Spider-Man film by Sam Raimi.
Oh, with that like weird metallic helmet
Yeah,
or whatever it
but
was,
things
or
leaked
oh,
later, decades after, about how they did these
mm-hmm,
screen tests with William Defoe, and they had like a
mm-hmm,
latex like mask, and they had animatronics in it to move his face around. And dude, it looked amazing. It looked so good, so like comic accurate, just incredible. And they
sure,
ditched it for that really lousy metal
horrible.
looking thing, which now I guess nostalgia lenses, people seem to dig it, and what have
Yeah.
you. But for me personally, I thought that was a very, very, very ugly look. So
Yes.
you
Chris Yu says that Tarantula's pointy-toed boots made him think of Death Dancer from No Man's
really,
Land. Do you
I
remember
do
Death
not. I was
Dancer?
actually hoping he was going to say it was the Iron Sheik with pointy
No.
shoes.
Hak
Okay.
Tui. Yes. No, this is the Death Dancer faced off against one of our favorites,
Really?
Asriel.
Oh,
Oh
ooh.
boy. Yeah. And he almost danced Barbara Gordon to death.
With his pointy shoes.
Yeah. But then Asriel beat him and like just left him laying there on the road and walked away.
See you later,
Just
alligator.
like all the bad guys in No Man's
Yeah,
Land.
that's it.
It's like Nicholas Scratch gets beaten and everybody just leaves him laying on the
Yeah,
ground.
you're chewing gum under a desk, buddy. That's what I think about
Hmm.
you. I just whooped your
That's it.
ass. Yeah.
Hmm. I've been hunting you down for 6 months, but lay there. We're not taking you in. We got nowhere to put you.
I'm surprised I brought up the Iron Sheik's boots and that didn't inspire any more conversation from you, Mr. Wrestling fan.
I just said
Yeah,
Hak
I know. I was
Tui.
waiting for like
Yeah.
Greco-Roman wrestler means nothing to me. I am Iron Sheik. But yeah, the guy with pointy boots, man, you gotta watch out for that dude. That's one
Hmm.
dangerous, dangerous individual. So
Hmm.
anyway, there we are. Those are the answers. But really, honestly, it was a question posed to you, and I think I gave a far longer answer than you did. So
You did.
I get the points for that one. Ha ha!
You win.
Yes,
You win.
indeed. All right, so now we've gotten that out of the way. Like it was a chore. We get that out of the way. They were done with that. Woo!
Finally
Finally,
behind
asking
us.
Chris what kind of
Jesus.
Spidey villain he thinks is the most beautiful. He couldn't even get that right. I mean, come
I
on now.
couldn't.
We do have some correspondence from the
Yeah, we do.
third member, the hidden member of this program.
Hmm.
So if you can cue
Let's
that up,
open.
I think that would be a nice little dialogue that we can have in the dark.
I think that's a
I
great
know it is.
idea
I
if I
thought
can
of it.
find
That's
it.
why I know it's wonderful. All my ideas are
Word.
fantastic.
Okie dokie.
Oh
Here we go.
yeah, little bada babble.
Yes, spot a babble from our friend Chris Yu talking about episode 27.
Groovy.
He says, "Hello, the Bada Show. I recently bought something that I was not planning to buy, but ended up talking myself into buying anyway. I saw that there was a DC Finest Collector's Edition for the Judas Contract. And when I saw what was being collected in it, I was intrigued because it was collecting appearances of the new Teen Titans from other series that took place at the same times as the Titans issues of that era. And I saw it was going to reprint the Wolfman Perez cameo of the new Teen Titans in World's Finest number 300, one of my sweet spot issues because of those Wolfman and Perez pages." Now, you ever read the Judas Contract, Dave?
So, any of the Judas contract I ever read was when I was still very, very young, and I've never read it the
Mm-hmm.
whole way through. So I don't have a lot of love for it as many others
Okay.
do. Honestly, even with Teen Titans in general, there's not a whole lot of affection for me. So it's not even something I
Sure.
really wanted to explore later in life. Like even though it's a seminal work. When you're talking about Teen Titans, you can't mention Teen Titans
Mm-hmm.
without mentioning the Judas contract. But I still
Sure.
don't put it on my radar.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's one of the stories that I think a lot of people would say like Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, where like it was revolutionary, but it like ruined the character for like a little while, where it was like everybody was trying to like beat that story or do something equally as like mind blowing,
Yeah, or just copied it in some.
or
Yeah,
just copied it
right.
flat out. Yeah. With the Titans here, Judas Contract was a fantastic story, but they won't stop trying to do it over and over again. It's like Titan stories. There's always this like risk of a traitor being in the midst, and it's law of diminishing returns for sure, because it was done just so damn well with Terra. Chris continues. Now I own a physical copy of the Judas Contract trade paperback and a hardcover edition of the Judas Contract, as well as the digital edition of the Judas Contract trade and digital editions of all 15 volumes of the New Teen Titans trades, which contain the Judas Contract. I didn't need another copy of the Judas Contract, but the promise of those 4 never-before reprinted Wolfman Perez Teen Titans pages was drawing me in. And then Amazon was offering it at 15% off, so I bought it. Now, you seen these DC Finest, Dave?
So these DC Finest, these are the newer ones, right?
They remind me of the Marvel
Yeah, I
Epics.
it's funny because I saw some solicited, and DC
Mhm.
also has something called the Compact line.
Yeah, because I got them
Right,
mixed
yeah, me
up.
too. Because the compact is very
They're
affordable.
$10 or something like
Yes,
that,
yes, yes,
or
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, exactly. And even when I saw some of the finest ones, I'm like, wow. Like for example, they are.
they put the years on
I
them.
think it might be last month's previews. They're doing another
Hmm.
Metamorpho. For example, I have
Hmm.
the Showcase Presents Metamorpho, which collects all the Metamorpho stuff in black and white.
Black and
So
white,
I was a
yeah,
little bit intrigued by this. I'm like, well, you know, maybe, but even with a discount, it was pretty pricey,
pretty spendy,
pretty spendy.
yeah.
And I'm like, well, I already own the Showcase. I don't think I'm gonna pull the trigger on that. And that's something like, if I see it in the wild, or if I can get it at a more considerable discount, used or something.
Sure, half
There
price
we
books or
go.
something,
Then
yeah,
which, if it's in half price books, has been read freaking 200 times.
yeah,
But still, then I might pick something like that up. Compact though,
yeah.
yeah, dude, that's more my my lane.
Oh, dude, because I saw the ads for these Finest in recent
Mm-hmm.
DC Comics. And I'm like, oh my God, they look so cool because they got the dates. It's like this Batman from like 1987 to 1989 and like Superman from 1938 to, it's like, oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. It's like you can actually have them in like a linear sort of fashion. And I'm like, and they're only $10 each. And it's like, no,
Wrong
no, these
one.
are not
Yeah,
those
yeah.
books. Yeah, these are not those books. Chris
Okay.
continues. When it came in, I immediately went to look for those Wolfman Perez pages, and there they were. Page 340 had the cover to World's Finest 300, and right next to it was the first of what I knew was 4 pages of Teen Titans goodness. I turned the page, and there were pages 2 and 3 of the 4 page cameo. So I turned the page again, and there was the cover to Tales of the Teen Titans number 42, the first part of the Judas contract, and not the 4th page of World's Finest 300 cameo. I turned the page back and forth, hoping I somehow missed a page, but no. Page 4 of the cameo was not there. It was not collected alongside pages 1, 2, and 3. I was crushed. Now, in World's Finest Comics number 300, the first 3 pages of the cameo are pages 11, 12, and 13 of the issue, and page 4 is thrown in at the end of the issue on page 39. Why the editor of World's Finest broke up the pages that way so long ago, I'll never know, but I'm guessing whatever DC assistant editor had to pull the pages to be reprinted in this DC Finest edition did not know page 4 was not printed in conjunction with pages 1 through 3, and so they left it out. So now there's only one Wolfman Perez New Teen Titans page that's never been collected alongside the rest of the New Teen Titans work. So if anyone from DC is listening, if you can add that one missing page to a future edition of this trade collection, I will probably be dumb enough to buy a copy just for
Ouch.
it.
Ouch.
Man,
You know,
man.
that's painful.
I mean, we talk about the editors. We do talk about them. I mean, do you think any of them even knew who the Titans were?
Dude, I'm just listen, man. We just talked about spendy, expensive,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon 15% off, and 15% isn't a whole heck of a lot.
Not when it's a $60
Dude, I
book or
hope I
whatever it
hope you left a
is.
review so no one else gets burned like you did. Yeah,
For
definitely
sure.
leave a review on there. Missing page 4. Like, dude, come on now. That hurts.
I mean, yeah, when you're, I remember DC did something similar when they put out a Death of Superman
Really?
omnibus. Yeah, and they left out a bunch of stuff. And I think it was, I don't know what it was actually. I remember reading what was missing from it that would make it not an omnibus
Uh huh.
anymore. And it was like very, very small. Like it would have been an extra like 20 pages. It's like the book is 1,000 pages. Put 20 more damn
Yeah,
pages in
right.
it. Yeah, and I mean that was an expensive book too. I think that was like seventy
I
five,
wonder
80
what they would have
bucks.
missed. So, like a Justice League issue or something, or
I'd have to look it up, but I do know there were people complaining
oh,
about it, like pretty
bummer.
loudly. Yeah, I was listening to a lot of Superman podcasts back then, and they were raising the fires. Now, Chris says, so now that I've gotten that off my chest, let's bada battle. So we're just
Okay,
starting,
yeah,
folks.
right. That was
Uh,
just getting us warmed up.
oh God, I forgot we even talked about this
Okay.
stuff. I can't say I'm excited for the Crypto series. I would read a Crypto story if it was part of a new modern Superman family anthology, but not as a solo title. I'm slightly more interested in a new Supergirl series. The new Batman costume intrigues me, but I don't know if it's enough to get me to buy it. I think I may at least give the first issue of Zalski's Captain America a look-see just because Steve Rogers as Captain America was always my favorite Marvel character. And as a lapsed Captain America fan, a new number one may be a good jumping on point for me. So there you go. The number one worked.
I know, but the thing is, when he just said it could be a good jumping on point, it's funny because new number ones don't always necessarily serve that purpose.
Oh, they very seldom
You
are.
know what I mean? So it's more. I don't want to say that whole thing again, but anyway, you use my term with But anyway, I'm scrambling for other words in the English language to use inside my brain right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, okay, let's hope it is. How about we say that? Let's hope.
Because I'm thinking about one of the more high profile DC number ones
Uh
of
huh.
recent times. Justice League Unlimited or Justice League whatever is it Unlimited?
Yes. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Okay,
But then you kind of have to.
you have to read everything
Well,
before
you had
it
to know.
for it to make
That's
sense.
the thing. Like there were
Yeah,
things you had to know to completely understand exactly what was
yeah.
happening.
So a number one is not. Yeah, you'd be missing
Bait
out.
and switch. I'm sorry, I had to say it anyway.
There it
Thank
is.
you. Jeez, Louise, Dave. Just be true to yourself. Stop denying the world your greatness. Bait and switch.
Hmm.
Okay.
Chris continues. I'm probably the only person who liked Aquaman's Sword of Atlantis, so hearing Dave refer to the current Namor series as Conan Underwater has convinced me to binge the series once the last issue comes out. I haven't been let down by a Dave recommendation so far, so I've got high hopes for reading the series once it is complete. And that Sword of Atlantis was very chilly dog esque. Um,
Okay.
I may give that Outsiders volume Chris spoke about a read. It sounded interesting, and since it's such a short run, it falls into my binge reading habit. I like unusual metatextual comics, so this may be right up my alley. And it was okay. It was okay. The meta-ness got a little cute, but it was good parts of it too, for sure. He says, I think that Deathstroke annual, because I showed a Deathstroke annual last time, may have been the Canadian price variant. I have a friend in Canada who collects Canadian price variants as a subgenre of his
Mm-hmm.
collection. It's strange that a Canadian price variant ended up in a 50-cent bin in Arizona. That's true. And I don't even, if it was within reach, I'd go check to see if it did say
You
Canadian,
don't have
but
good enough light to do that. You're probably gonna trip over a bunch of stuff, and
I will die.
it'll be like
Yeah.
an episode of Three's Company or a
I'll be
Chevy
Chevy
Chase. Yeah,
chasing everywhere.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's the nephew of Bob Haney. Um, what else we got here? Oh, I have a question from Chris. Do you consider the volumes of Showcase 93, 94, 95, and 96 12-issue limited series or ongoing series that lasted only 12 issues? Since each year started with a new number one, I don't consider them to be one volume with different year titles like Legion or Legion was. It was Legion would have their little, apostrophe 94, 95, 96, and what have you. I I'd have to see what I put it as in my spreadsheet. I'm sure I just put them as minis because I'm pretty sure they say of 12, don't they? Yeah, yeah. Like you can see here, it's 8 of
Mm-hmm.
12. So that is it's not an ongoing. I don't know that would be like if they did another Showcase 96 number one, then I guess I'd have to worry about volumes. But I don't think that would
You see,
happen.
I'm not overly familiar with them, and so just like my gut reaction is, and this is gonna sound wrong, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't lead into each other, right? So they're standalone stories.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
almost seem just like a series of one shots. You
Well,
know.
they do have continuing stories between, in the year itself. Like Showcase 93 starts off with like a four-part Catwoman
Mhm.
story. And I think I think it's like a four-part Catwoman, a four-part Blue Devil, and I think like the third spot is like a kind of a round robin. I think like Flash had one, Cobra had one, Robin had one. So there is sort of like an Action Comics Weekly bend to
Mhm.
some of it, but I don't know that they actually jump years. So like I don't know that the story in Showcase 93 number 12 would follow up in Showcase 94 number 1. I could be wrong.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as like giving it a category, what Chris is asking for me is a little
Hmm.
difficult. Yet again, not being someone who read it,
Hmm.
to like define it. If it is just, is it a mini series? Is it an ongoing that just has the different parts? You know what I mean? I don't feel like I can give
Yeah,
like a definitive, good enough answer maybe to what he's looking for,
sure.
because just as like an outsider's perspective, I'm like, it's just
Hmm.
a bunch of one shot issues that just happen to get some numbering to keep it in some
Keep it,
sense of order,
yeah,
I suppose.
in some sort of
Yeah,
series.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Chris continues. The history of comics collecting and the comics collecting culture fascinates me. The origins of comic bags and boards and boxes are almost as interesting to me as the stories in the comics themselves. Such a niche topic within an already niche hobby that it probably doesn't interest very many people, but I have been looking for information on this topic for years. Anything we can find from Bill Cole, please report back on. I will be doing that jig with Dave if they have something interesting to say. And I haven't actually reached out to Bill Cole this week. It's been a
Yeah,
busy
yeah,
week,
yeah, right.
but I do intend to. I hope they have a historian or or a way to get to a historian. It's like, oh yeah, Uncle Bill, he's in the home over there. You
Yeah,
want to talk to
he's the
him?
man.
Yes, I would like to talk to
That's
him.
your responsibility, by the way. Yours alone. I will
It
not
is.
touch
It is.
Bill Cole.
It's
You're the
all
one
good.
who's gonna reach out and touch someone when it comes to Bill Cole. Okay.
Okay. He's a Massachusetts guy.
Okay.
Anyway, another question for you in the audience. When you buy a back issue, do you keep it in the bag you bought it in, or do you put it in a new bag with a new board? I remember bags being sealed with poor quality tape that would either wouldn't come off or was gummy when you removed it, and it made your bag and your fingers sticky. Is this still a problem for modern collectors? Yes, it is.
one, one more time for the people in the back. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And and do I keep them in the same bags?
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. Mine is just based on the quality of the bag. I mean, um, or you know what? Even then, I should go even further than that. Sometimes it's based on the quality of the book, the contents of the book itself. Because
Sure.
if it's something I bought, I know it's not particularly good. Let's say it's another Adventures of Superman number 355 or something, where I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm sorry, 633. Do I keep saying five? Do I keep 633? Did I
I
say
don't
that?
know. 6:30. So that still had a little time on it, huh?
Yeah,
17
it had a
more
little bit of chunk
issues.
to it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, did I say 533? I don't remember. Anyway, Olive Garden
Yeah.
salads, endless. It's true what
Get
they
you.
say. But anyway, my
The
point by
rhythm's
bringing
gonna
this
get
up,
you.
it was that now that I'm totally convinced I'm going to keep buying this until it makes me violently ill. I'm probably not going to
Mhm.
change the bag and the board on any of these. I'm just going to keep hoarding them. You know what I mean? But yeah, if I see the condition of the bag and it's like your showcases where it's wrinkly like that, it's got the waves in it, I'm changing
Mhm.
it because
Mhm.
I can only
Mhm.
imagine those boards have like that yellowish tint to them. Yeah,
Yellowish tint. Yeah. They were in a smoker's home.
possibly.
Let's see here. I'm hopping back to last week here to see if Chris left
Oh,
comments. He did. He did. Let's see here. Someone tell Chris to lay off the Pym particles. His corner box keeps growing and shrinking. I have a problem.
luckily that hasn't happened this week. I told you, sick
Hey.
ferret. We're gonna crowdfund, get a new Bada Bin bot.
Hmm. He thought the herky jerky nature of my screen was proof that I'm actually AI generated. That remains to be seen.
Okay.
Um, I want a DC Marvel crossover where Planetary from DC meets Planet Terry
Ah,
from Marvel Star Comics. Yes. Did they? I think Planetary is actually in the Marvel Universe now,
you
isn't
got
he?
me. That's something I do not have any spark in the back of my head of any kind of knowledge about.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up. Okay, planetary. Go. We're doing one again. Again.
What?
Okay. There's an ad here for Daredevil
Yeah, the
Born
TV
Again.
series
Why?
on Disney
Just leave it
Plus.
alone. I'll leave it alone. Let's see. Yeah, Planetary is a he's a
Oh,
character now.
hello.
He is he's on Earth 616, and he looks like a
Okay,
douche.
wonderful.
All right. Let's see here. I wonder if the new Batman costume will be a plot point of the story, and if DC is planning on to make it the costume he wears in every guest appearance. That's a good
Hmm.
question. In the last issue of the Hex series, we find out that Jonah Hex was taxidermied after his death. I do remember that. Keith Giffen drew it, right?
The taxidermy thing, I actually remember from something different. I could have swore it
Hmm.
was. Do you remember like in the late '70s, DC
Mm-hmm.
Comics had like their dollar comics and like a title with a spectacular. I could have swore that was like in the Jonah Hex spectacular.
Let me see here. I'm looking at my review of Hex
Hmm.
18 that I wrote February
Well,
16th,
it might have
2016.
just linked into it because I do. I want to say in that one he's like a taxidermied character that nobody cares about anymore. Like this Western
Okay.
hero left in the rain, this sort of thing, you know. So
Hmm.
look up your
Yeah, 'cause
review.
he is taxidermied
In
here.
18. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, where Hex himself finds Hex finds
Okay.
himself
So that was
stuffed.
Fleischer
Fleischer and
calling
Giffen.
back
Yeah.
to his story from the Jonah Hex spectacular. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Groovy.
Okay.
But
There we
that's
go.
exactly what I want to do. So Chris, you is
Hmm.
correct. I want to be just like that.
There you go. Chris Yu says, "Give Absolute Wonder Woman another shot. It reads better as a
Too late.
whole."
You dropped
Uh,
it. Oh
can't do
boy.
it. If you're going to do a Bada Bin trivia for every major holiday going forward, are you going to be following the holidays of the long Halloween? Just want to know if I should start brushing up on my birthday of Carmine of Roman Falcone trivia come
No,
August.
Boxing Day is still up for debate. I
When is
have
Boxing Day?
no
Is that day after
idea. I
Christmas?
have no idea. Same thing with Kwanzaa. I don't know what day Kwanzaa's on.
I think we actually did a show on Boxing
Oh,
Day this
really? We
year.
missed the
We did we did it on the day after
is it
Christmas.
trivia that we missed out on? We won't make that
Yeah,
mistake
we missed out
twice.
on
Let
that
me
one.
tell you.
Let's see here. I wouldn't want to see Sam Keith draw the Fantastic Four, but I would love to see him draw a Khazar story set in the Savage Land. I saw Cadbury cream eggs at the supermarket today. It was $1.59 for one in Chris's part of the
Hmm.
country.
I get 2 boxes in my freezer right now.
There
Yeah,
you
they were
go.
five something. They
Well,
were yeah,
oof,
for a 5 pack though. So
still over a buck a
yeah, it is.
pop.
But you know what? I had my first one yesterday, and my God, man, you could have like opened a box of riches, of
Mm.
rubies and jewels, and shined them in front of my face and been like, "Do you want this?" Where you could have like unwrapped a Cadbury cream egg and just been like, "Or this." Give me that Cadbury cream egg, sucker. It was
Take that
great.
egg.
Oh, it was so good.
I had some peeps already this year, and they were the cinnamon churro
Mm-hmm.
kind. Eh,
You gotta let them get stale.
eh. Yeah, gotta
Yeah,
leave
you
them
gotta poke
open.
or like
Gotta
poke
leave them
holes
open.
in the plastic, leave them out for
Yeah,
a couple days. They get a little
just leave one end
crispy
open.
edge to them. There you go.
Those are the
Yeah,
ticket. Let's see here. Wouldn't it be crazy if someday in the future there was a table at a Comic Con where fans could meet the hosts of the
that will
Bada Bing
never
Show?
happen in a million years. No,
Probably not.
I
No,
mean, hey,
no.
yeah, that I wouldn't mind sitting somewhere. I sit here. Why not just sit?
Yeah, I mean, we could set up a
Yeah,
table in my
just sit
driveway.
somewhere else. We're just
Yeah,
sitting. That's what we do. You
that's what
know.
we do. We
Yeah, you
just
pull my
sit.
string. I say bait and switch. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I
Mm-hmm.
say. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, just when you pass a park, look at a bench. If you see two dudes sitting on it,
It
it might
could
be
be.
us.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yep.
Could be. Just ask what we think of
Just
Mark
yell out
Waid.
"chili dog" and see who goes, huh?
And if someone comes charging at you, run the other
Indeed.
way. I do love a spontaneous live unboxing, the perfect interruption to the show that added to the awesomeness of the episode. That was very fortuitous. when
The
the
box arrived.
package
Yes,
came.
episode
Yes.
number 27. For those looking back
Hmm.
or want to look back at the previous installments of the Bada Bin show.
Yes, in the
Hmm.
archives. And he loved your shirt last week. He made it. It made him sing out loud, "Na na 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 na
Mm.
Newman."
I'm glad he enjoyed that.
Too bad we'll never see it again.
Well, that is a tricky thing, isn't it? Because you know what?
Hmm.
Much like canceling Action Comics, this T-shirt thing has been weighing on my mind, and it's all Chris
I
Hughes'
know.
fault. Because
Hmm.
now we're trying to keep a streak going of the fresh T-shirts until I run out. And today, I've had this shirt on all day, all
Hmm.
day. Like this is the one I wore to the Olive Garden when I was
There you go.
gluttonizing. And before I sat down with you today, I'm about to hit hello on Skype. Hello, and I'm like, Did I wear this already? Because preparing for the Olive Garden and preparing for the Bada Bin show,
Two totally different things.
one thing is I'm like Elton John, and the other thing I'm like Cousin Eddie. Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
This is just my garb for whatever, not for trying to impress Chris Yu and keeping the streak alive. So, as our official,
Hmm.
or rather our unofficial archivist, how would you say that?
Ephemerologist.
Ephemerologist, Chris Yu, have I worn this shirt on any previous episodes? This one should be easy to spot. This is the DC Comics Bullet logo. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
They should bring that
They
back.
did. Isn't it glorious?
What?
Hello. Yes, it's wonderful. The only thing is, because I always want more. You gave me a
Hmm.
little, you give me just a little bit. I always want that a mile, right? The
Hmm.
corner boxes need a little bit more flair. I think that
Hmm.
you need a character in the corner, and I don't want. Okay, listen. If it's an ensemble, a team, do heads.
Hmm. Do the
But
heads.
if you're
Yeah.
Batman or Superman, I want you know
Hmm.
action pose underneath the bullet logo, issue number.
They never really did. They didn't do that very much, did they?
DC was
DC.
yeah, Marvel that was their bread and butter.
Marvel was their
But
deal. Yeah. I know DC would do like a Batman standing next to the DC logo or a Superman standing there next to him during the 80s.
Superman had a couple that one where he's like flying through the air, which are pretty cool.
Hmm.
This was early '90s; those were there.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think there was even one Krypton Man in the corner, as a matter of fact, when they were doing the Krypton Man storyline. So they
Gotcha.
could do some cool and funky stuff. I don't see why we couldn't do it now.
Hmm.
It's almost like next.
But then where would we put the all-in orders?
True, very true. You're right. So
Because we got to let the people who don't read comics know that this is all part of all
yeah,
in.
yeah. Well, you know what? I'll give them this. It's better than the banner on top of the entire friggin' cover.
Oh, the rebirths and the new 52
Yeah,
for 3 years.
exactly. So having the all in
Yeah.
underneath the bullet logo is far less heinous than having it
Hmm.
as the title above the title of the book. But what I wanted to say real quick was I don't know what time we're going to record next week. Now, if we do this
Hmm.
on Friday, it might be very opportune because I will have a brand new stack of comics. Plus, I went a little gaga on the back issues this week.
Uh-oh.
Online, nasty, nasty stuff. But
Uh-oh.
something I was. Okay, we're talking about like little obscure things to collect. You mentioned the Canadian price variants.
Hmm.
So I believe it was September 1979. DC
Hmm.
Comics decided to have their bullet logo have a different color. So the DC text is black, but the
Hmm.
outside ring with the star
Was
it
blue,
was
right?
different colors. So
Oh,
like
okay.
for example, I was missing the Jonah Hex issue from that month, and I ordered
Hmm.
it, and I'm like, man, that is the most ugly bullet logo ever. Yet if you look through pretty much any publication, unless it was like a digest or um, some kind of special issue, they all had some version of that black DC with a weird color on the outside. So now it's becoming like a little quest of mine to collect every DC
So
comic from September 1979.
this is cover dated September of
Correct.
79? Okay, I'm pulling it up on Mike's Amazing World here so I can see all
Okay.
of them. Let's see here. And filter. Okay, there were one, two. Oh yeah,
You see what I'm
that's
talking about?
yeah, that's yeah. Because I'm looking at Action 499. Oh, that's a Whitman. Never mind. But yeah, they do. It is black
Mm-hmm.
letters, blue circle. Batman,
I think
same
some are
thing.
green,
Let's see here. It looks like Brave and the Bold
yeah,
is green.
and they're ugly as sin.
Uh, they are very. They are very tacky
Yeah, and
looking.
I don't remember if I had read in the past if there was any history
Mm.
behind that. Yet again, it might be clouded by the dead brain cells I referred to earlier, but it
Yeah.
was a bad choice. Someone made a really bad
And
call for that month.
yeah, like not all of them took part. Like Warlord is just
Okay,
black.
like I
Um,
mentioned, there was like specials and stuff, and like blue.
yeah, Joan is
Okay,
blue.
there was like a Blue Ribbon Digest or something that came out didn't have that, that sort of thing. But most of the
Yeah,
books
yeah,
did.
yeah. There's a few of those. There's a few blue ribbons there. Yeah, there's actually a Jonah blue ribbon that month.
Okay.
Jonah Hex and Other
Yes.
Western Tales. Yeah, that's World of Krypton. Okay, yeah, I've got
So
a
that's
bunch of
what I
these. I
mean.
didn't realize that there was
For
anything
me, it's like a
about it.
fun little thing to start collecting all the DCs from that month, just
Yeah,
because they're ugly as hell. The corner
yeah,
logo.
yes. Superman Family did not take part. Unexpected did not take part. Yeah,
So let's
interesting. DC Comics Presents did not
so
take
let's hunt
part.
them down. But should we
Yeah.
do another Bada Bin After Dark on Friday next week? I will show off a fresh set of comics and a whole slew of back issues. And as a matter of
I
fact,
like it.
there's one in particular I was talking to you about this
Hmm.
morning
Oh
that
yeah.
was a complete impulse buy. That there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with it. Yet, I do believe the logic in my mind was a little askew and confused because we've had so many conversations on the Bada Bin show about this book, this character,
Hmm.
and I was like, you know what?
Hmm.
Caution to the wind, my friend. Let's do this.
Do
Let's
it
let's
up.
make this happen. You know, I was even thinking I don't have space for this. What am I going to do with this? And I'm going to put it on display for the world to
Yeah,
see.
I mean, that is a daring choice to display Trouble Number One.
Well, someone's got to do it. And this
Mm.
rabble rouser in front of you right here is just the man for the
Hmm.
job. Oh yeah.
Now you got to get the Andy Warhol with all four covers of
Yeah, right.
Trouble.
No,
Yeah,
not happening.
you'd be on a
Yeah,
watch
you're
list.
right. I would not be permitted to enter any Chuck E. Cheese in North America. That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
But yeah,
No,
so Chris, let
no,
me know about the T-shirt thing. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
I don't think you've won it.
Okay, I
I
I
could
don't
be
think
wrong.
you pay much attention to what I'm wearing.
I don't.
So you're the wrong guy to ask anyway. But Chris,
I'm not even sure what I'm wearing.
you're very nondescript. You're
That's my
very,
gimmick.
yeah, dude.
Under the radar.
Very. Your style is very under the radar. Me, I am man child to the max. I'm always wearing some kind of comic related thing
Loud.
or sports or whatever fandom thing is
Hmm.
always on my nipples.
You fandom out loud.
I do, and it's painful. It hoits, you know. So yeah, let's see what the recording schedule will be next week. But Friday,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the one problem I have with Friday and doing a Bada Bin
Hmm.
After Dark again a week from today is I will be working. So I'll
That's
be a
right.
very, very tired boy.
Hmm. We'll both be working Friday, so yeah, we will both be
We'll both be
exhausted.
very exhausted. Today,
Yeah.
everything has been fueled by, yet again, too much
Olive Garden.
fast food Italian. Yeah. But next
Hmm.
week will just be, capitalism kicked my ass. So we'll see.
Hmm.
We'll play it
Hmm.
by ear. I didn't know what was going on this week. I actually had two promo stills ready for either "Oops, we're sorry,"
Hmm.
"See you next
Ah,
time," or "It's on tonight, baby." And luckily I was got to say, "Boom, it's on tonight, baby," and here we
word.
are. So even though I feel like this is gonna be a little bit of a quickie, looking at the time of the show, we're almost at 2 hours.
How
We're about
about that?
under an hour under what we normally would pull off on one of our daytime
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah. It's still a long
Yeah, but
time.
I do hear my son yelling at his Xbox very
Uh-oh.
loudly, and I'm wondering if I am serving the role of a terrible parent by just letting him do whatever he's doing.
Letting him do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
unfettered, without any supervision. Just there you go. Have fun while his dad is off just talking about comics, trying to remember
Hmm.
if Emil Hamilton appeared post Flashpoint, if whatever
These are the
these
important
are.
questions.
Meanwhile, my kid is just swearing at a
But
computer.
there's a saying that like when you're on your deathbed, you're never gonna wonder what Email Hamilton was up to
Yeah,
after the
right.
Flashpoint.
Yeah. Well, thanks to the Bada Bin show.
You're never gonna want more time with ML
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Well, hopefully we can solve everybody's lingering questions about Professor Hamilton.
Yeah.
So they won't
Hmm.
have that sticky situation at the time of their death. You know.
Hmm. They'll be able to go in peace.
Speaking about going in peace,
Yeah.
it's probably about time we hit the road. I do want to do one
Probably.
quick check in because earlier we did ask Bill Beer to comment about the Batman stuff. Has he still not responded?
Nope.
Bill.
But I think maybe Bill is further ahead in the time zones than us. I don't know where he habitates, so
Okay. Well,
maybe it's
it
bedtime.
is currently on Central Time Zone 8:34, so it'd be 9:34 where he
Ah,
is at. So
oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah, maybe it's time for sleep. Maybe it's time for nights for
you never
Bill.
know. Or maybe he went to see a movie
I
with
don't
his
think
family.
so. Maybe he just had a big fat
Okay,
tuna fish sandwich. It was
there
just
you
like
go.
I'm old, I'm tired. Nights.
Or maybe he looked and he's like, "I'm gonna spend my Friday night
Yeah,
with these
f that.
two."
No way, Jose. You're
Mm.
right. That's probably you know what I think that's the most plausible scenario right there. These guys asking about what's going on in Absolute Batman. Who gives a crap? Go away.
An emo
I know, right?
Hamilton?
Jeez
Yeah.
Louise. Well, this was our
Ollie and Chili?
right, but I must say this was quite the debut of Bada Bin After Dark. I think it was
Yeah.
everything we promised and more.
Oh, Chris, you says Absolute Batman number 6 is part 6 of the
Okay,
Zoo.
well,
So that story
thank you
is
for
coming out
stepping up
still.
in Bill's stead. We
Hmm.
appreciate that.
Hmm.
And it just establishes that you, in fact, our friend, do not have a social life. It's Friday night, and there's no other place that you'd rather be than right here with us, right now. Well, you know what? That's commendable. That's an admirable trait, if you ask me.
I agree. I
All
agree.
right, then virtual hugs for everybody. I appreciate everyone except for Bill.
Absolutely.
Bill don't get squat because Bill bailed.
Abandoned. He
That's what his name's
bailed.
going to be from now on. Not
Yeah.
Bill Beer. Bill bailed. I shouldn't
Bail
say that
beer.
because listen, a few years ago he sent me Swedish fish on my birthday, which was an incredibly sweet thing to do. So he should have just like a
Hmm.
free ride
Hmm.
without me just
There
tearing
you
him to
go.
bits like I just did. You know what I mean? But listen, if I,
You can
you
apologize
know what?
next
Here's
week.
the deal though. If I can say Roy Thomas's haircut looks like this, I can say whatever I want about Bill too. So anyway, virtual
Sure.
hugs to everybody, including Bill and Chris, you and everybody else
Absolutely.
who's joined us now or in the future. We appreciate it,
Hmm.
and we will see you next week at some point. And Chris, what
At
are
some
your
point.
parting words of wisdom? Okay,
See ya.
that works too.